figure out where to
You
go.
will go on my first whistle.
We've gone
Trust me.
gone live a bit early, boys, a bit late and then a bit early because I forgot what time we were on, and I just I went on a little adventure around Bangkok, ended up getting a bit lost, and now we're trying to make our way home.
The Hangover 4.
Hangover 4. How are you?
God, I can't sit here.
How are you, first man? How are you?
Yeah, not bad, mate. A little bit all over the place today. I'll be honest. I had some bad news with the boxers. So the company that have got my boxers, that have got all the stock, they've mislaid them. So there's 8 grand's worth of boxers just gone missing. They've been delivered on the 13th, but they can't find them.
Someone's just running around with a load of boxes on.
Boxers on, yeah. I know. I'm going to see like a Del Boy trotter in the street just selling them all.
Someone's probably got boxes on their heads.
Yeah, so I've been trying to sort all that shit out. So yeah, that's put me out of sync. And then I'll be honest, yesterday I felt where I've been ill, I got back to normal routine, and my energy levels have just been in the mud. So I got up yesterday and I was like, God, I feel like fucking shit. I can't be bothered. And I was going to make a video on it actually because I was able to like rescue the day, if that makes sense.
How did you rescue it?
Well, I just kind of sat there, and it was like I got up late. I got up about 9:30, and I was like, right, I've missed the gym. I've kind of missed my normal routine here. I've kind of like, because I don't like going to the gym after 9. I feel as though the day started. It's too late. And yeah, I just said to myself, I was like, fuck it. I was like, you've wasted a few hours in the morning, but if you get up now, if you eat, if you get kind of changed, you have a shower, I was like, you'll start feeling better. And before you know where you are, you'll want to crack on. Because I was pissed off about the boxes as well. But I was like, I want to crack on. So as soon as I did that, it probably got to like 12, went downstairs, grabbed a matcha latte, my favorite. And I was like, right, let's just go. And then I managed to get like 5-6 hours of work done. And I was like, well, that's better than saying the whole day's fucked now. Like, let's throw it away.
Are you going to be able to find the boxes then?
Look, I messaged them and I said to them, look, they were delivered on the 13th. Here's the evidence. It's at your place. I know what your place looks like. Here's the evidence from the company that delivered it. I was like, if you can't find them, then you have to refund me. So I think the worst case scenario is I'll get my money back, but we won't have any boxes. So that means we're going to have to then wait, another like 10 weeks to get boxes in stock, which is shit because I was really relying on them.
And they're fucking high quality boxes as well. Best boxes in the
gym.
I
know. Each pair is like 11 quid to make. Well, obviously, if I scale it, it'll be a lot cheaper. But each pair was like 11 quid to make. So,
are you getting your own voice coming back at you, or just me?
I'm not, but I could be.
Have you got headphones? Are you going to plug in on headphones?
I've got this set up.
Oh, nice! You got a mic on. I'll just ask the chat. Welcome, chat. Hello, chat. Hello, lads. Just let me know, boys. Can you hear like reverb? Like you can hear our voices twice, or is it all good?
I don't know why I got a coat on still. I'm boiling. Bear with me. If I go here.
Oh, good. It's just my end. Lovely.
And here.
Let me see if I take my headphone off, whether I got it better.
Do it.
Let's try plugging in both headphones. Boys, fire some questions in the chat where Chris will answer them.
Oh, this could be sick. I've just realised I can move this chair around. I've sorted everything. Have we froze? Jackie boy froze, or is he giving me a face?
So I think I froze. I'm back.
You're back. Do you know what I really like rate is the fact that you're in Thailand. You're always tanned. You always look summer ready. Like I look like a ghost right now. And I used to like winter. I used to really love it, but it's starting to get on my tits now.
You can always come here, Chris. It's the land of the free, the home of the brave. It's probably the best place on earth. Because I was just talking to Chris on the phone before we come on live stream, and he was asking me how and the problem with Dubai is it just isn't Thailand. Like, Thailand is the best place on earth. You actually feel freedom here because there's not as many rules. Whereas in Dubai, there's so many cameras and rules. I ended up getting like 5 speeding tickets in the Lambo. That upset me. That wasn't a good day, and I just don't like it. But Thailand, like, it's a little bit rough around the edges, but this place will soothe your soul.
Soothe your soul.
There we go, there's an echo. This will soothe your soul. I'm going to take you boys on a little tour of Bangkok. Chris, I'll take you on a little tour as well.
I would love to have a tour.
It's about 30 degrees at the moment, Celsius. What is it with you? How hot is it with you, Chris?
It's 3 degrees.
Oh, that's chilly, that's very chilly.
Mate, it's shocking. I am echoing here. I don't know how to fix it.
This is on repeat. I'm getting voices on repeat.
Testing. I don't think I am anymore.
We're back in business.
No,
we're in business.
We're back in business. Do you know what? I train shoulders at the gym. It's really hard to hold my phone.
Tell me about it, mate. These things are getting bigger and bigger by the year.
That's the problem. I'll tell you what, if you boys want to get a good shirt, this shirt here is from a company. I mean, it's not a sponsor. A company called Luca Faloni, and quality-wise and the fit-wise is the best shirt I think I've ever worn. Like, remember years ago I was talking about getting a collar that sits up on its own. It kind of does. And I'm sure that will fail over a few, weeks of using.
It's like a nice shirt, man. It looks like a nice shirt.
See, it's just hype. 60 quid on Luca Faloni.
Luca Faloni.
Luca Faloni getting a shout out. What a top boy.
Faloni with his shirt.
How far are you from your house?
This is I'm staying here at the moment, up in this building.
Oh, nice.
So I'll be in there in a minute. I'm going to go shop quickly, just get a couple of bits and bobs for the stream.
I'm tempted to pop out.
Pop out, mate. Take the camera, pop out, do a little recce, show the people. Yeah, this is live, by the way.
The only thing is, I don't want people knowing exactly where I live.
No, don't show them where you live.
Yeah, but it's a small area.
They'll come find you. They'll be wanking at the doorstep.
Hopefully. No, I see people all the time. I see people all the time when I'm walking around, and they're always like whispering and pointing and stuff like that. And you're like, just say hello. I'm the most normal guy you'll ever meet.
People do that about me, but I think it's just because I'm a blonde-haired guy in Thailand. I don't think they know I'm the CEO of Testosterone.
Oh no, they know. They can tell. It's the first point, like you say. It's just because you're a bombshell. That's all it is.
I'm a blonde bombshell. I'm in the
They
shop.
They think it's a Fox News anchor.
I'm gonna see what a shop looks like in Thailand. There it is.
Looks exactly the same as ever else.
Exactly the same as the rest of the world.
Must be a copy and paste default layout. Oh, apart from that, I don't know what that said.
That's a different language.
Can you get anything weird?
Well, let's have a look around and see what weird stuff we can get. So this is an interesting one. I'm not sure whether I need it. I'm already kind of hyped up, but this is the Thai Red Bull.
Oh, that's what you take before you fight.
Red Bull originally came from Thailand, and this is the original stuff. It's in a glass bottle, uncarbonated, reportedly 3 times stronger than the Red Bull in Europe. With some
That's a heart attack in a bottle.
You have a couple of these, mate, and you feel unstoppable.
You only need one.
We've chosen that. What else do we need, Chris?
Oh, what else do we need? It is a Saturday. So I think we could do with a bottle of wine.
Oh, God.
Honestly, I'm not drinking for a while. That's why I got ill, I think.
Oh, mate, drinking makes me ill.
I've drank 5 times in 3 years, and every time I've ended up getting either COVID or flu or whatever I just had.
What were you out doing before you got ill this time? What did you have a big session?
Well, I actually bumped into a bunch of subscribers. Now, give the evidence on this, but it was the 23rd, and all my mates were like, "It's the first." I think it was a Friday, and they were like, "It's the last night before Christmas that you can properly go out. You haven't been out in months. Come on, come and celebrate. What a good year it's been for you." And I was like, "Plausible argument. Let's do this." So I jumped in the taxi with my mate. Ended up having. I walked up to the bar. You know, there's women everywhere, and you get like, in not being a dickish way, you're getting looks, and you're like, tonight's gonna be a good night. You know that energy where you just go, okay, like
you're on it. You're on it.
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, tonight's gonna work. It's gonna click. Like, say what you will, tonight's just gonna work. And a lot of my mates were there. I was like, this could be good fun. So I go out to the bar, I can have a glass of wine. She was like, we're out of glasses. I've never heard anything like it. And I was surrounded by all these beautiful women, and I was like, just give me the bottle then. You know how it is. You're trying to be Big Dick Willie. And that just became a trend. That became a trend all night, and I had 4 bottles of wine, and somehow I was fine. Somehow I was fine. I don't know how or why, but I was fine, and we stayed out till 6, 7 a.m. And I woke up the next day, and I was just like, this is not the one. I feel like shit, and I was already tired before that because of the streaming platforms. And then, yeah, for 30 days, I fought off. What did I fight off? A cold, then a throat infection, then 2 ear infections, and I think there's probably some flu or strep in there at some point. It was like back to back. I got hit by everything. Yeah, it sucks because I was saying for months before that I was literally like 1 alcoholic drink away or 1 late night away from being ill, and then I did both to an extreme level and got really ill. So I was right.
You silly bugger.
I said to you, didn't I? I was on Mark Tilbury's podcast, and my voice was going. So I knew something was coming. I was like, I've got mucus all up in my throat. I was like, so I'm going to be in trouble soon.
And then you got in big trouble.
Big trouble. Do you know what, mate? It sucks as well because you think 1 night out costs you 30 fucking days. That's a 12th of the year. When you think about it, it's like, this is why I don't drink.
I had a booze session on the plane from Bangkok to Dubai. Don't do it often. Did exactly the same for me. The thing about drinking on a plane is as soon as you get down from the altitude, you get a hangover instantly. So I had instant hangover, put me off it, killed me for a couple of days, managed to recover, and now I'm back in the swing of things.
I've had that on lads' holidays. When you go to like Magaluf or Ayia Napa and stuff like that, you end up drinking all the way there, feeling great, and then once you land, you're like, oh god, I feel fucking awful. Tell you what, I was gonna get a coffee, but I had an accident with my kettle yesterday.
Go to the local shop, mate.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
Go on a little adventure down the local shop.
Can we turn this around? Can I show you guys what's going on out here now?
Yeah, there we go.
I got to get rid of the old fire pit. That's because I've been ill. I just left that there, but. Do you know what, mate? I've had that for 2 months now. This little area here with the 2 sofas and the fire table. I've got to go out because otherwise people always think it's green screen.
Get yourself out there, Chris.
I've had all this set up for like.
Get yourself on that sofa, big fella.
2 months now.
I'm going to try and find a quiet local garden to settle down in.
That's gonna be sick when it gets a little bit warmer, isn't it? But 2 months it's rained and snowed, so I hadn't been able to use it. But
you need
such a nice little rare spot.
You need a canopy.
You don't get stuff. You just don't get stuff like this in the UK. Like little areas like this. I know, like in Thailand or somewhere like Miami or somewhere like that, people would look at this space and be like, "That's shit." But in the UK, it's so rare, isn't it, Jackie boy?
Very, very rare. That's a rare
Especially
gem.
Somewhere like
That's
here.
a rare gem. But you don't have the weather. You don't have the weather to use it, bro.
I know, it sucks, doesn't it?
That's the worst thing.
It's good in. What's I gonna do?
I'm by the pool.
Go downstairs. Oh, that's huge.
Little swimming pool. Oh, I found a little spot. To just quickly have a rest. I'm gonna have a look at the chat now and see some questions.
Mate, my kettle is in the mud. I ordered a matcha latte yesterday and they sent a cold one. I was like, the fuck do you send a cold one? It's like -2 degrees. So I put it in the kettle and I was like, it'll be fine. I'll just heat it up. It was fine. And as soon as the kettle switch went flick, the whole thing bubbled up and just poured all over the floor. So my kettle, I left it there. It's all covered in green shit.
Chris, get your kettle out the mud, mate. Get your kettle out the mud.
I have to show.
Let's give this a taste. Let's give this a quick try.
Mate, you're gonna be off your head. That thing looks brutal. So I'm mad opens the bottle.
There we go. Spick and span. Oh,
I'm in Thailand too.
That's nice. Oh, look at that. I think that's Chinese, Chris.
Yeah, I know my Asian languages.
that was a racism, Chris.
It might be. I don't know. YouTube loves me. YouTube love me. There's a different rule set for me and everybody else. I've got double standards. They send the Tates to prison and then they just let me do what I want.
I think you're quite untouchable, actually, Chris. You've got this bulletproof confidence, just where you're not going to get touched by anyone, I don't think. You've been in the game 10 years. Like, there's no slowing you down.
I appreciate that, buddy. It is weird. I do definitely think that saying stuff like, I do argue for and against sometimes. I look at the side from, a female aspect or whatever. I don't let under 18s see my videos and I don't have ads on my YouTube. So I definitely think that, I reckon I'd have 1 million subs by now if I let under 18s see my content. They'll still find it because they can just type it in or whatever. I think it's under 16s, but that really messes with my growth.
So are you clicking age restriction on for your videos?
Yeah, ever since I started.
Why?
So that I can say the C word. I won't say it on your channel. I probably will at some point. I apologize. But it's so that I can say the C words, the F words. I can say whatever I want. There's no advertisement. So YouTube are just like, we don't like what this guy's saying. I'm sure they've looked into it and gone, we don't like what this guy's saying. But then I'm sure they've gone, but it's not affecting us. Like, he's not doing anything wrong. He's not against the rules. So I don't want to, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel kind of like you said, untouchable.
You've been doing well. You've been doing well. You've been in the game a long time, so it's working. Have you had one of those YouTube strikes or a warning or anything?
No, I used to get copyright warnings for like the body language analysis videos, but they were always like, "Don't worry about it. We'll just drop the claim, whatever." But it just comes through as like a default thing.
Got ya.
So I've had like a few of them in the past, but honestly, nothing. But I that's why I did it, so I could be whoever I wanted to. I could be authentic. If I wanted to say something, I could.
I had my first one for a video on lasting longer in bed. That was my first video, got taken down. I got a warning on the channel. So I guess we should go into that now because that video got took down. So we can just give those tips now and hopefully it will just fly under the radar in the stream and it will just fly through and the boys can get the info. So
do you know what I actually thought of doing? I'm seeing this girl right now who the sex is amazing, but I'm not sure she'd be keen on being filmed. And she's probably watching this and she's going to go nuts. And I'll have to ask her about it at some point. But I thought it'd be really good to like just film it and put it on OnlyFans and then just be like, guys, that's how you fuck. Is that a bad idea?
That's an interesting idea. I think it's a good idea. I would encourage it actually. I think it's a very good idea.
I'd be happy to do it. I wouldn't care, but I don't know if people would want to see like me. It's my face. Do you know what I mean? But if you want to know how to fuck, I'll show you.
Wear a mask.
That was why I wanted to do it.
Spider-Man mask.
Wear a mask. Shall I wear a mask of you?
That would be interesting.
Just keep interchanging the masks.
Put the mask on of all the favourite YouTubers.
Get banned as soon as you put the fucking Andrew Tate one on.
What does this chick do that's so much better than the other chicks? What makes a girl good in bed? Or is it you? Is it all just your guidance?
No, it's all different with different girls. Like I thought of this the other day actually. It's like I've fucked girls that haven't made a single noise and you're like, I'm not doing a good job, and then they just squirt everywhere out of nowhere and you're like, oh, I didn't see that coming. And you've got other girls that are just screaming like crazy and they can't stop coming, the eyes are rolling back and everything. You're like, I'm the man. And then you get other girls who are just like pretty placid about it. And you're like, oh, that seems kind of shit. Like I had one girl that kept her eyes closed the whole time. And I was like, look, I know I'm ugly, but you need to stop. And but she said to me, she was like, it just allows me to like think about my orgasm and getting like in the mode. And everything's different. Like every woman's different, man. Like you can't. Do you know what I mean? Like everyone gets caught up on like, oh, that wasn't my best performance. It's like it doesn't. It literally doesn't matter. Like you just
doesn't
do the
matter,
job. But this girl,
boys, if you're going in there and you're just doing a couple of seconds and then you can't hold your load, like that's
terrible.
That's not good.
That's terrible.
A couple of tips for that. I'll give a couple, then you give a couple of tips. Be interesting to see if we do the same things. But one of my main tactics is something you boys know what a finger blast 3000 is. It's a special fingering technique just to get the girls going. What we want to do is when we're going for that penetration, you want to take a minute to, if you're going to blow, you pull the old Johnson out, and you get the fingers in there to finish the job. And then once you've reloaded yourself, you're feeling a little bit calmer. Get your cock back in there. Boom. And I'll just vary between that. So if I'm feeling like I'm going over the edge, we just calm it down a little bit, revert to the fingers, and then we go back in. Are you using that trick, or is that new to you?
Those two fingers. It's been a standard procedure for a long time. I feel like you can get some serious speed too. You know, you do what they call the come hither motion, then they're going to get closer and closer to squirting as well, which is always a good method. Come here. Always get some clothes. I'm really good with my tongue as well. I always find like I've got vibrators in the house. Like I've got a couple in the house, and they're not for me; they're for women. And it's just like I think they love this shit, and nobody talks about this stuff. Everyone goes like, "Oh, it's weird." Just they love it. They love it. You'd be shocked. You'd be shocked. It could be like the first time you're with a woman, you break out the biggest vibrator in your arsenal, and she's just like, what? You know, once she starts feeling a little bit happy, she's like, "Yeah, get it on me." Do you know what I mean? It's like guys get very
scared.
Guys are, are you okay? Are you okay, babe? Are you okay? Does it feel good? It's like just fucking do your thing. Just enjoy yourself. Just because here's the thing: you go and break out the giant vibrator. I'm hyperboling that a little bit, but you go and break it out, right? And you go to put it on her, and she goes, "No, I don't want to use it." Well, then you don't use it. But until she says no, just keep up in the ante.
Yeah, just say me neither.
What she's asking for.
I was just testing you. Me neither. I hate vibrators. Yeah. Fucking get rid of that.
I just wondered why this was here.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Funny story actually. When I was really ill, I called my mum. I know it sounds funny as a 30-year-old man, but
you didn't use a vibrator on her, did you?
No, the story is actually. Look, I'll clarify stuff because people are going to TikTok that. So I basically said, I was like, "Mum, can you come and clean the house because I'm fucked and I can't be bothered." I was like, "I'll pay you for it, whatever." She lives local. She was like, "Yeah, go on, then I'll drive over." I was like, "Just bring me some medicine and shit and whatever, maybe some like food supplies. Like, I'll cover it, whatnot." You know, first man asked for his mum.
Yeah.
And then she just like cleaned the whole house and whatever. And I was like, "Oh, yeah, thanks, mum," whatnot. And I was going to bed that night. And I walked into like the bedroom and like the top shelf where all the vibrators are. And I was like, they've been moved. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake, honestly. Like, I was like, and she didn't mention it. What a top mum. She didn't mention it.
Legendary.
But I assumed she was like clearing everything out, putting stuff in order, and obviously went like, oh, what the fuck is that sort of thing. I was like, oh, if I was younger, I'd have been super embarrassed. But at 30, I'm like, Mum, you know what I'm like.
Did you mention it to her or not? Did you mention it on her?
No, I'll probably make a joke about it when I next see her or whatever. We've got like a family gathering coming up, which I told you about.
Isn't that today? Isn't that today?
Later today, yeah. And then we got another one tomorrow as well. And I'm just going to be like, I'll just drop something in as a joke or if it ever, whatever. We're a real open family. We always have been. Like, we're just, like, I used to come home at 18 and my mum would be like, have a good night. I was like, yeah. Slept with these two girls down at, she was like, oh, I don't need to know, but she'd laugh. Like, we just didn't care. And that's why I'm so open now.
Bring them home?
Take the piss.
Did you bring them home and then like
I brought a few home, yeah.
And your mum was there?
Yeah, and it was shit really, because like in hindsight I actually feel bad for her. But our bedrooms, like the walls basically were touching. So she was basically next door and it was quite a thin wall. And I remember once I woke up in the morning, whatever, kicked this girl out, walked into the kitchen. She goes, "If you ever do that again, I swear to God, you'll be out of here." And I must have been like 18 and it was like 5 in the morning. I thought I was being super quiet, but I guess I wasn't. And
absolutely not, Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, don't do quiet.
Well, no, to be fair, it was a terrible performance because I was so drunk I couldn't even get my dick going. But at the same, and I was like, oh, I hope, how embarrassing would that be if your mum could hear you like couldn't really even get it going? I was like, that's like the worst scenario ever. But you're just 18, do you know what I mean? You're blindo, you've had like fucking 20 pints of beer. I ended up seeing the girl again and whatever and doing the job properly. But this is male advantage shit right now that I'm talking about. Because that's the thing. Everyone looks at like us lot, Tate, whatever, and they're like, oh, these guys, I wish I was at that level. I wish I was doing what they're doing. It's okay for them. It's shit for me. It's like, I was 18 once, and I was shit in bed. And like, Hamza's made that video before where he's like, I couldn't get hard with 6 girls in a row. Like, I had that at 18 where I used to get so drunk that I'd make the excuse of, oh, sorry, I've drank too much. It's like, it's unacceptable.
I've had that too.
But it's also,
I think it's an
because you've
anxiety
masturbated
thing.
like a lunatic all week. Well, for me, it was masturbating and watching porn like a lunatic and then drinking beer.
Can be that.
And it's just, the thing is, like, that then, I'm not so worried about that moment. I'm more worried about like what it does to your brain moving forward, because then it becomes anxiety because you do expect it, like you said. So it's just, that's why now I just don't like, we go on a night out and I don't really drink. And people are like, why aren't you drinking? I was like, because, and then obviously I'm seeing somebody now, but this was in the past. And it was like, because I'm ready to fuck.
Yeah,
Like there's that
I want to
viral
rock and
video of
roll.
me on
I want to
TikTok.
rock and roll tonight. I don't want to fall asleep. I don't want to fall asleep at the wheel.
That's what I mean. It's fun. It's points on the board. It's that positive feedback loop. Like when I was younger, oh, my dick's not going to work. Whereas now it's like that girl squirted everywhere. I feel like the man. She was gorgeous. I feel great. I did a fucking great job. She's going to go and tell all her friends and everything. It's like you start strutting around with a little bit more confidence. And I swear to God, your testosterone goes up a little bit each time as well.
I think it
I
does.
swear to God.
My dad used to say, you're going to wank yourself blind, son.
What's that, mate? I couldn't see you.
my dad used to say, you're gonna wank yourself blind, son.
Do you know where that comes from as well? I think when you're masturbating so much, I think you lose so much energy that you just feel tired and you get blurry eyes. I think that's where that myth came from. I remember that from when I was young.
Have you managed to do the banging chicks but not come in and doing that retention so that you get the increased test levels? Have you done that?
Yeah, well, I used to do that when I masturbated back in the day, the Taoism thing. I learned how to do that and like hold it in. The only problem was I found that my dopamine was still getting fucked up because I was still getting pleasure. And I was getting lazier every time I did it. So I was like, I'm holding it in, I'm keeping my energy, but I don't feel like I want to work. I didn't feel like I actually wanted to get up and go to the gym and chase life. And I didn't have that like that viral video where I was like, I like my balls to be full. I like to feel like my dick is there. That was all over TikTok for a while.
You have some sayings,
And
Chris. You really do have some sayings that are very viral worthy.
Do you know what was crazy is I had I had a videographer for a little while when we were doing the body language course. And I said the whole TikTok thing took off at the time, and I said to him, I was like, "How bad is it? Have you seen it?" And he was like, "Look, I've seen it." He was like, "The worst thing is my sister's seen it," and he said he mentioned a few things about who he was working with today, and she was like, "I know that guy. That's the guy with the big balls." And I was like, "Oh my God, that's terrible." Well, that's not actually a bad thing. And then she goes, and she's 14. I was like, "Oh, so I've got a whole nother like generation of kids coming through that know me as the weird TikTok guy."
Yeah, but I think we can change that. I think you've got to be more selective in what you're putting on the tickets.
Ah, fuck them. I'm always going to say whatever I want to say.
Good man, good man.
I want to get worse.
Funny.
I want to make so much money that I get worse.
I can see that.
I just want to. Well, you're just like, fuck it, doesn't matter. Especially when I've got my own platform. Who's gonna like? I can't ban myself.
Yeah, you can't ban yourself from your own platform. That would be silly.
That'd be stupid, wouldn't it?
You know what I got today? I got a video from James. You met James, my videographer, and my good friend.
I've met James.
And he come to Bangkok, and we did a video in Bangkok it was lost footage. It was a lost SD card. We did a vlog in Bangkok, and he's just edited it and sent it back to me, and he's found the footage. It's fucking funny, man. Fucking funny. Me and James on the loose round Bangkok.
That sounds dangerous. Do you know what I thought the other day? I probably owe you some money.
Why is that?
Because the day that we did the filming in London, you paid James for a day rate, but to be honest, he filmed me too, and I got the benefits from that too. So I should have paid half.
We don't worry about that. We don't worry about that stuff, Chris. It's all good. It's all love, man. We don't need to worry about
That's
that
just who I am.
nonsense.
I like to be authentic.
We don't need to split the bill. It's all good.
Even if it makes me look bad.
No, you're a legend.
Or even if it has a negative consequence on me, I like to do it.
I can see that about your personality, and I like it, and I'm going to encourage it. I'm going to encourage your eccentricities, and I'm going to make sure you're really living you're being the best man you can be.
A first man. Do you know what? Everyone started calling me the negative term now is one man. I keep getting all these DMs, and they're like, "Fuck you, one man."
What?
I have no idea.
Why is that?
Must have been some TikTok things. I don't know. Must have happened on TikTok. You remember that HS Tiki Toki kid as well?
Oh yeah, I know HS Tiki Toki.
He made a video on me the other day, and he was like, "Oh yeah, sure, buddy. You're so He's like trying to take the piss, and I watched it, and I was like, "How much in the mud has your career got to be making videos on me? That's my barometer for your career is done." It is though, isn't it? It's like why are you making videos on me? Like, that's weird.
You had Memulous. You had that Memulous. You had that Memulous video as well, and I got mentioned in that. Did you see the bit where he mentioned me?
I did see that. Yeah. Somebody showed me that bit because they said Jack got mentioned. I was like, show me that.
It was about these headphones because they say CEO of Testosterone on them.
Well, I've got a first man car mat under in the driving side.
I've got a first man beanbag at home. I've got a first man beanbag.
Oh yeah? What do you do on that? I'm selling sex toys. Do you know what? I used to work for a guy in London. He never paid me. This fucked me financially. It was really rough.
Some drinks have just come out of nowhere, and we've got another Red Bull's just been delivered. Where's that?
They're not even yours, are they?
It's that nice lady over
there. That looks so nice.
That lady's just come bought it to me.
She is a treacle.
She's a nice lady.
Mate, that looks so nice.
Yeah, it's a good place. Nice little place, this. Mate.
Basically, I definitely want to move. I definitely want to do like.
It was a week.
I think
Airbnb for a week was just 250 quid as well in Bangkok. Just a week Airbnb.
Yeah,
nice apartment, easy.
That's actually mad.
Because I've been doing that Airsoft. I've been doing Airsoft. You seen that on my story?
No, I haven't seen that.
Mate, that stuff's so good, boys. If you've not done Airsoft and you want like real life military experience, like to know what it kind of be like being under real fire, the Airsoft's so similar to real life. Like they're using it a lot in the military now. You get proper into that brotherhood vibe of like meeting up with some guys. You've got a team together. You're tactically going through rooms and shit. You're trying to take out the other team. Objectives. I'm doing it again tomorrow. Tomorrow I spend a whole day at Airsoft. Every 2 weeks in Bangkok I do an Airsoft here now. So fucking good, mate.
No, I would love to do that. I feel like I get too into it though.
Oh mate, come get way into it. We've got the best guns, best everything good. We've got all the good stuff.
Do you get grenades? I remember when we used to do paintballing, they used to give you grenades and smokes, and mate, that's fucking sick.
You've got everything. It's
How cool is that?
It's like every guy's dream, and it's 20 quid for the day. Ammo and guns.
That's insane. How much better do you think your life is now compared to when you were in the UK? Obviously, you're earning more now, but
mate, so much better because the biggest thing, like you can move to a lot of different places in the world, and I've only experienced a few. But just comparing Dubai, which a lot of people say is sick, to here, you haven't got half the freedom. In Thailand, you've got so much freedom, and the people are so like well mannered and nice. There's no sort of conflict here. Everyone's really welcoming to you. They're like so happy to have you in their culture, in their country. They want you to try their stuff. They want you to interact with them. They see you as a good thing. Because a lot of the tourism here is from Farang, they call us, from us guys coming in. They treat us really nicely. So I think it's a place to live. So fucking good. It's quarter of the price. Fucking fantastic, mate. I love it here. I can't wait for you to come out. We'll do Airsoft.
I'm definitely coming.
We'll make a vlog. We'll do some fighting. We'll do videos we can put into the streaming platform.
Do you know what I was going to ask you? Have you ever done any white collar stuff, boxing or fighting in general? You have?
Yeah, I did white collar boxing and I did the ultra MMA as well, the white collar MMA.
Have I seen that? I think I've seen the videos. I think you showed me some stuff, didn't you?
The MMA I won, you saw that. And my first ever one I did when I just turned 18, I lost the boxing match. Didn't get knocked out or anything, just lost on points. And that was a huge one. Like, losing a fight teaches you a lot about yourself, and it's fucking nasty. All your friends and family there, fucking losing the fight. I had a girlfriend at the time. She said, "Oh, if you win, I'll let you do anal. If you don't win, you can't do anal." So I got no
Well, that's the worst thing.
No fucking anal that night at all. Just absolutely none.
I mean, that's heartbreaking.
That fucked me up, man. 18 years old, I was like, I'm a loser. I'm a fucking loser now. And then you have to get back on it. You have to get a win, otherwise it just kills you, mate. Kills you. Are you thinking of doing one?
What, anal?
No, a white collar.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the reason I mention it is my mate's doing a white collar in March, and we're all going down. We've all got a table and whatever, so it's like a big topic of discussion for us right now. I've been boxing, once a week. I've done it for years on my own, but I've been boxing with an actual coach once a week, and I've got really, really good at it. And with the streaming platform, I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to host an event where Hamza fights somebody, you fight somebody, I fight somebody, and we just put together this fucking massive cards of like, I don't know, like 15 fighters or so. And then we have maybe like 1 or 2 documentaries that go in between fights while like the big fight's coming on, maybe like 10 minutes long, 15 minutes long, something like that. And we just make it into one big launch night. I'm tempted. And we host it maybe in Dubai or Thailand. Like, it would be insane. And we just pick, like, I don't know, like, I'd love to fight Jake Paul or KSI. I think I'm so much heavier than them, so I'm not sure if it would work. But I could find somebody that I could have a scrap with.
I reckon you could cut down.
I just don't want to, because then I'd fuck up all my bulks. And the other thing is as well, like, I was saying to my coach the other day, I said to my coach, who's a world champion, I was like, tell me if I'm being a dick, because I can get a little bit egotistical. And I was like, I'm really good, right? I was like, I think I am. And he was like, no, you are. You're like, you think you were a pro if you like actually, if you actually stepped in. And I've had so many people like tap me on the shoulder and they're like, you've done that before. Who'd you box for? Like, when's your next fight and stuff like that? I'm like, mate, I'm an amateur. And I said to my coach, I was like, I don't want to. And I think the same with you. When I've seen you fight, I'm like, there's no way he's an amateur. Like, you're on that level too. Like, you're shit hot. If we were the same size, I think you'd probably take me out. Then you'd lose speed and stuff like that. So it's tough. But like, you're on that level too. And it's dangerous, because I was like, I don't want to do a white collar and go and fight some guy who's doing like, he's raising money for his daughter's leukemia. And I just step in there and just absolutely dismantle him and hit him like really hard. I can't live with that. That just fucks in my head. I think that's awful. So I'd have to find somebody who's either better than me or on my level.
Chris is.
Like, I want a challenge.
Everyone else who goes into fighting is worried about losing. Chris is worried about winning and just dismantling somebody's poor dad.
I just feel awful. It's like, I'm raising this money for my sister who, died of leukemia last year, and I just step in there and just bully this guy and just take him to pieces. I'd be like, oh, for fuck. Like, but my coach said, look, he was like, if I fought you, he was like, I'd go bap, light you up a little bit, realize, okay, he didn't really respond. But okay, I hit him again. This guy is obviously not on my level. Let me bring it down a peg. And I was like, yeah, I understand that. He was like, so why don't you just like see how you get on at the start and then just bring it down a few levels to like keep the guy in there for 3 rounds out of respect?
Yeah, and then just finish him. Yeah. Just finish him on the last round.
Just Deontay Wilder him with a big right in the last.
I'd love to see
11 seconds left, so that you didn't say but about.
I'd love to see your journey to the ring. I think that's got legs. So we should definitely do that.
I'd love to do that. I think my ring walk as well. I think I'd do no music, all dressed in all black like Tyson, black gloves, like an executioner, like an Undertaker.
You go in there, just your boxers on. That's all you wear, and it's just first man boxers.
Do you know what? No branding,
chains
no
jangling
sponsors,
from your shoulders. Just first man boxers, fighting your boxers as well, and just brand them.
Come in like Triple H,
the fighter's boxer.
Yeah. The people's champ. Just come in with a sledgehammer, water in my mouth like Triple H. Just wear a wig and be like.
Oh man, chat. ask some interesting questions, chat, and we'll answer some of them.
It's got to clear my mucus.
I've got one here. Do you believe in God, Chris?
Do I believe? I don't know. I think that's a tough question because I don't have all the answers in life. I went to a Catholic school. Obviously, I've seen every element of religion through that sense. The thing that put me off religion, though, the reason I don't really follow it is just all the paedophilia. So it's like all the guys that are supposed to be the most religious are just like flat out paedophiles. Like the whole thing's just a massive organization that linked towards that. And I'm like, okay, so you're the guys who are supposed to be teaching me, yet you're doing the most sus stuff. And then I'd hear some, and then like if I were to become religious, I would become I would follow Islam because I think it's the best religion in the world. I think the people who follow it do abide by the rules. I think they're the most legit when it comes to their religion, from what I've seen.
It's interesting. I've really liked
I've heard some
Buddhism.
stories.
Buddhism in Thailand seems to. I mean, the thing about Thailand is there's a lot of poverty, like people living without a lot of money and very little crime, which shows people have massive religious like beliefs because they're not reverting to crime and doing bad things. And the people here I've found from living around a group of people, the best people I've met in terms of caring for others have been Buddhists. The Buddhist people, the Buddhist religion, Buddhism, it seems to be fucking sweet. Islam haven't got any experience in it, but I think it's a good thing to read about, read all the religious texts because there's something there for a book to last that long.
There's something there. Yeah.
But again, it's powerful stuff. So it's gone fucking corrupted in a lot of different ways.
Well, it was massively profitable and it's not taxable. I actually thought about, because plausibly we could say we're religions. Plausibly, I've thought about that because then you get the tax breaks, don't you? I've thought about that.
But a good idea.
Like Hamza always says, his thing's a cult.
Yeah,
it's plausible. Scientology did it, so there's probably a loophole there if we wanted to do it, and then you can live anywhere.
What do you think about? Yeah, what do you think about Tate going to jail? We haven't talked about that personally, me and you.
On his take, like people know I've said some stuff about Tate in the past. It's not. I don't think it's negative. I think it's just honest. Like I've been told some stuff. I've found out some stuff. I've got some red flags and whatever. But at the same time, I do like the guy. I think he's great. I think anybody who's helping men is great. Like I said a lot of shit about Fresh and Fit, but they're helping men, so I have no issue with them. I just say what I see. Like I call myself out on my own bullshit too. So I
like that.
I just hold everybody else.
I like that about you.
Like if I've done something wrong, like if I stayed up all night last night watching porn, I would tell you guys and be like, I fucked up. Like I'd just be honest about it. Even if it affected my brand, I'd be like, oh fuck it. And I do the same with the Tates and stuff. And I have so many things where I'm like, that's not true. I know that's not true. That's false. Like I'm the girl I'm sleeping with at the moment, she's got rappers in her DMs, and those rappers are making songs saying, I fuck any girl I want. And I'm like, no, you don't. Because she's rejected you and she's come to my house. So it's just like, just be honest in your life. Do you know what I mean? And there's just some red flags for me. However, what's happening right now, it appears to be complete bullshit. I feel I'm getting to the point where I'm feeling sorry for him. I'm gonna have to speak out because it's like they don't even treat murderers this bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Look, it's Tristan as well. And I know you fucking like Tristan a lot.
I like Tristan. He's legit, yeah. But it's just like they're very tough guys mentally, very tough. And you can even see they're like a little bit fucking pissed off. Their composure's dropping, as you would. I think mine would
on the
too.
next one, yeah. They started to show a bit of anger this time.
Yeah. I was like, I've never seen Tristan that irate. And Andrew like went to be irate and then controlled himself. But I think he wanted to be the same. And they're treating him like garbage, and it's a little bit disgusting. And
mate, they're wearing the same clothes. They're wearing the same clothes they were wearing 40 days ago. They haven't had a haircut. They haven't had a trim. They haven't had new clothes. Nothing, man.
I was about to say that the basic requirement before they put you in front of the press is they let you like get a haircut, shave your hair, whatever, have a shower. Tate's out here with his hair getting overgrown. Like if it was me with my SMP and all the sides were growing but the top wasn't, I'd be like, you motherfuckers, you've made me look like such a cunt in front of the world.
And that's what they're doing. They're doing that on purpose. That's what they're doing.
Of course they are. And do you know what? Personally, I think, look, and you can't speak out on this because you never know, but they could have done what they're saying they did. However, as far as I'm concerned, when somebody has committed a crime of that level and you've got evidence, you usually send it to trial immediately. You usually convict them. You usually have some evidence. You don't go, we're going to keep you for another 30 days. The only reason you do that, right? And you know why they're doing that, because the Tates are strong mentally and they won't crack. They won't crack. Everyone has their limit. They might crack after 10 years, right? But I doubt they'll crack. It's the two women that they've brought in with them. Because here's the thing, as men, we know the crack. Like they could do that with me with SMP, whatever. It doesn't grow, and I've been pissed off. But I'm like, I can live with this. You know, they don't feed you properly. We've both been poor as men. We can live with that. We're not going to let you shower. Okay, stinky as a man. We can live with that. Like everyone's done their time at uni. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's had a week where they didn't fucking do their grooming habits. Like as men, we're different. We don't need a lot. But those two women, what they'll do is they'll get to day 29 of the extension and they'll go, how do you feel? Do you want to say anything? No, we don't. Okay. These women have had no shampoo, no conditioner, no smelling products, no sex. You know, they're feeling like shit. They're feeling ugly. Their hair color, their natural hair color is coming through, and the roots are showing. And they start to get fucking annoyed at life. And they say, another 30 days we're going to hold you for, and these girls just crack. It might be the second 30, it might be the third 30, but at some point those two girls that they've got with them that are their friends are going to go, okay, yeah, they did rape the girls. That's what they're playing for.
They're trying
That's the
that.
play.
They're
It's the
trying
most
that.
obvious
I'm
thing in the world.
thinking, looking at Tate and looking at the way he does things in his life, hopefully the people that are closest to him, those two chicks included, are fucking watertight. Hopefully they're fucking tight as anything, like nothing's going to happen.
Agreed, but it's like a lot stronger, closer people have cracked. Like I always think of the story. It's way off topic, but I think it was in Auschwitz. There's two guys. They threw some bread. I'll be quick with it. They threw some bread over the fence, and they jumped on each. One guy grabbed it, the older guy, and the other guy jumped on him and started beating him to death and trying to get the bread. And the guy on the bottom was like, "Son, it's me. Son, it's me." Like so fucking sad. And it's like pushed to a limit, everybody cracks. Like you'd be willing to beat up and kill your own dad for food at that point. Now they won't likely get to that point, but we know men can live with less than women. And the Tates could go years like this. They're strong as fuck. Like they haven't been through what they've been through without, gaining that level of mental stability. They don't strike me as guys who are just going to lose their cool and start lashing out and crying.
Nah.
So they're gonna get through it. But that's what the plan is. Those two women. That's the plan, to get those two women to crack and go, it's all true. They raped these people, and then they've got their conviction. And all you need is to be off the board for a year or two. Do you remember Bobby Schmurder?
Yeah.
Yeah, when he did that song.
He went down for gun possession, right?
Yeah, but everybody was like, when he gets out, it's going to be fire. He's going to be dropping all these records. He got out, nobody cared. The world moves on. And this is what they're hoping will happen with the Tates. Like we can convict them for 2, 3, 4 years. That's all they need. And then they just disappear. You just fall off the map. And people go, remember that guy? Not really. It's so quick. Like Kevin Samuels was a legend. And to me, he's still a legend. People don't really care today.
Rest in peace.
People
people still care, Chris. People still
care. But they
care
don't mention him.
Everyone mentions him in the right circles. It's just the wrong
in the
people
right circles.
mentioning him.
But it's not like it was. It's a lot more irrelevant than it was. People just drop off the radar, and it's sad in a way. Like I always use Tai Lopez as an example. Tai Lopez gets less views than us, and he's got like 3 million followers.
But what we've got to remember, Chris, is that these guys have made it at that point. Like Tai Lopez has made it. I think he's a majority shareholder in Radio Shack now. He's got proper business. He's a proper entrepreneur. He's worth over 100 mil. Like these people have made it. They probably don't want to be in the limelight. Tate probably doesn't want to. I just pray he gets out. I just pray there's justice and he doesn't get put away for something he hasn't done. That's what I hope, because no man should have to go through that, no matter what his views are. And I agree with a lot of his views. It's a sad thing to be put away for something you haven't done, but I think it's also quite an awesome story arc for him and his brother. Like it makes their life eclectic and very, very interesting. So I want to hear the stories when they get out. I'm looking forward to the content.
It's almost Tyson-esque, isn't it? It's like Tyson wouldn't be Tyson without the bad things, without going to prison, without everything, the cocaine and whatever. His story is perfect. Like if you want to write a story, it's just perfection. And
His
This
book
is
is
gonna
nuts.
if they get out, it's gonna be the worst thing that the media could have ever done, because they're gonna go more viral than ever. Because everyone's gonna be like, they're back, and they're back on it. And the stories, like you said, we're all gonna be tuned in, going, what happens? They'll go on every podcast talking about it. And here's the thing, they'll flee to Dubai as well. They'll get citizenship and they'll go, we're safe now. And that's, Andrew's obviously changed his religion. He'd be in a country that supports that. He'd be protected beyond belief. That was a smart move. I think that's probably why they arrested him too, because they were on the verge of getting the fuck out of there and setting all that shit up.
I think they just didn't quite get out in time, because I don't think that shit would fly in the UAE. I don't think they'd be able to. Whatever outside influences came in to get them arrested in Romania would not have happened in the UAE.
It's crazy though, man, isn't it? Like, I was talking to somebody the other day. I won't mention who, but the guy who's my mentor right now. The guy who's my mentor. I want to say the name just in case they want me to mention some stuff. But he was saying he believes that they're making shit up. He was like, from what I gauge of the man, he was like, I believe that they're making this up. The thing that's sus to me is like I've got some things that I could call out about Tate, which has got a lot of evidence. I don't, because I don't like ruining another man's brand, but it's there if I ever need it, right? But I would likely never do it, because I just think it's stupid. But I've got a lot of evidence and research and whatever. The claims that they're throwing out there, you've got girl after girl coming out going, I dated him, he's great. I worked on that show with him. It's like a woman going, I was a fighter on the show. He was nothing but respectful. He was the nicest guy here. And it's like, people wouldn't just say that. Like, you have to have a
Absolutely
real
not.
affinity for somebody to come out and speak publicly about them, knowing what the consequences are going to be.
Big time.
Like, I would come
amount
out
of
and speak
people.
for you, because I know you and you're a good friend of mine and we've met. Like, I would come out and speak for you. So for somebody who you've only met for like a couple of weeks in a training camp to come out and be like, like ex-girlfriends, they should hate you. They've got a reason to fuck you over, and they're going,
Yeah.
he was actually good. He was actually a great guy. And I'm just like, come on, man, let's not do this. Let's not use the easiest rape trick in the book. Like, let's make sure it's not that.
Last year, Tate, when he was blowing up, he was going around raping. I don't fucking think so. The guy was fucking busy as fuck, and he's got an abundance of women. He wasn't going around raping.
Do you know what? This needs to be discussed more, right? Here's the thing. It's not always the case, but like when Benjamin Mendy, the footballer, got convicted, or like they said he raped X amount of women, my initial, and it might be wrong, but my initial reaction is, what, a young, handsome, in shape, multi-millionaire footballer with tons of options. And that's a red flag for me. Now, he still could have. And I've got friends that live in Manchester that are like, it was his friends that were doing it. His friends were the one, but they were doing it from his house. But then at the same time, I've got stories of like, Danny Alves just got convicted or whatever. Like, I knew about that 6 years ago. I was in a gym in London, in Liverpool Street. There was a guy in finance who had just been to the Monaco Grand Prix, and he said to me that Aguero, Dybala, and Dani Alves were out on a night out. He was like, Dybala was sober, Aguero was drinking because he just scored a hat trick, and he was like all chill and whatever. But Dani Alves was running around the dance floor just fingering birds. Right? And obviously,
That'll get you.
I was like 24 and I was just like, fuck me, like, what were they doing, and answering these questions. In hindsight, I'm like, maybe I should have mentioned it, but I didn't have a platform back then, so I didn't know. As of last week, he just got, sentenced or whatever it is, or at least he's been charged or whatnot with another event. So I'm like, well, I know about something that he actually did.
That's the thing, innit? So if somebody is like that, if someone is like that, you hear about it. You hear them doing crazy shit. You don't get people coming out saying, oh, yeah, he was the best guy. He was so polite. When you see Tate, he ain't running around doing that shit. He's not that kind of guy.
Number one, he doesn't need to, which is always a red flag for me. Like, it's like he's got options. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't need to do it. And also, he's so fucking rich. Like, he could probably, in worst case scenario, he could pay some of the hottest women on the planet. Like, if he was really that desperate, it's safer to pay than it is to rape. Right? So it's like, okay, well, there's that strategy. Do I believe he was a little bit dominant with the women? Very likely, because he was in that role. He probably felt like fucking Scarface. Do you know what I mean? He was probably living, you're making all this money, you've got all these women around you, you'd feel like the man. You'd probably put him in your place now and again, but no more than like, no more than like a controlling boyfriend or whatever, which still, you know, isn't great, but it's a long way from a rape charge. And, you know, we're speaking without evidence here, but, you know, he seems like a smart guy. And people always go, oh, that guy's an idiot, he's stupid. It's like, are you fucking dumb? To make the money that he's made, to make the moves that he's made. It's even like here's how legit I think I am as a person. This is a red flag against him, but it's a compliment. It's like he says he's full-time world champion. He's full-time world champion of a dog shit organization, right? He wasn't in Pride, he wasn't in Glory, he wasn't in, you know, any of the top. Well, he wasn't in K1, which I used to watch as a kid. He wasn't in any of these. He was in ISKA, which, you know, is still all right, but it was like it was a very low-level organization
But
with.
at the end of the day, Chris, it's 80 pro fights. I mean, I've done a fucking just an amateur, and
It's
I
still
understand the
fights.
pressure of an amateur. Like 80 pro fights, no matter what league, it's a fucking big deal to be champion and win that
It's
many
still
fights.
great, but it's actually like for me, it's a compliment because he plays chess. He's a strategist, and I can see what him and his brother did. They obviously looked at all the sports and went, like, barely anybody kickboxes globally, especially back then. You then divide it by weight classes, you divide it by age, you divide it by male and female, and you're down to like a couple thousand people in your country that actually do that sport. They then went and did the, you know, the sixth best organization, which you could still get called world champion. And then also, like, you know, you're not going to be fighting the top opponents. And they, you know, they went in there and got the world champion belt. And it's like, yeah, you didn't get paid a lot, but that was a strategic move. They went for the numbers game, they went percentages. And that shows me how smart they are as individuals. They're always plotting 5, 10 years ahead. Like I always say, men who think in decades are dangerous. Well, they're dangerous. They're thinking in decades all the time. And I just don't think for a night, like, I based on character, I just don't see Tristan or Andrew like going, I'm going to drink too much and I'm going to end up raping this girl. Especially like Tristan, no. Like it looks as though he can get any woman he's ever wanted. And he's got game. Like you can see it a mile away. Andrew's going to be there by association, and he's an intelligent individual who's in shape, who can claim he's a world champion and has money, and he's got some natural alpha tendencies, pretty good body language from what I can see. Like I just don't envision a world where women wouldn't find that attractive naturally.
No, I agree. I
You know what
agree.
I mean? Like,
I had one of the super chats come through, Chris. I had a super
yeah,
chat, a money chat.
well, where you get paid and I
But
don't.
what they asked, I actually want to answer first, and then I'll let you answer because they're kind of taking a little bit of a dig at the streaming platforms. I want to answer it
Yeah,
first.
no worries, man.
It was how do you plan to make profit for the streaming platform as giants such as Netflix, Disney Plus, and HBO Max currently don't make any profit? First thing I just want to say, Netflix isn't a profitable company. Is an insane thing to say. Like maybe they don't show profits on their balance sheet. Anyone with a brain doesn't show profits on their balance sheet. Doesn't mean that you're not making a huge amount of money. You know that Netflix is doing, I think, $100 million a month, and they have very little overhead apart from going out there and getting shows produced. And then the rest of the stuff is just this recurring revenue. So I think whatever you've looked at that says those companies aren't profitable, I think streaming platforms are. But Chris, what would you like to say about that?
Well, you got to look at the nature of the platforms as well, like Netflix and whatever, because the people who are employees are happy to just get paid. They're always going to get paid. So as long as you've got money for them, they're happy. The people who are at the top are usually shareholders, and that's what they're more interested in. They'll pick up their monthly wage, but they're more interested in what are my shares worth, what's my net worth, and because I don't know if anybody's seen the WeWork thing on Apple TV, but he's got like no money in his bank account, yet his net worth is enormous because he's the owner of WeWork. And he goes in, and the guy's like, "I'll give you 100 million credit." Like the bank manager is just like, "I'm your personal, you're an ultra high net worth individual." He hasn't got anything in his bank account, but this is what these people are more worried about. My mentor that I was speaking to the other day was like, "I'm not cash rich, but I'm asset rich." He was like, "Most rich people are," and this is what people forget. So those people aren't worried about turning a profit because they're not going to put that in their pocket. Their net worth is more valuable to them, so they'll likely go, "Okay, we made 100 million. Can we put 99 million back into content, back into the company, back into staff?" Like that pays them more long term. They get more benefits from having their shares skyrocketing or whatever it might be. So it's like they're more motivated by a reinvestment that pays them long term, yet they still get paid in the meantime. You know, so it's like with
That was
tax
Eddie
and stuff
Smith.
as well.
That was, I'm just shouting out his name. That was Eddie Smith that asked that. Chris, what's the structure going to be of the streaming platform? So how is that going to work in terms of like, have you seen back end like what it's going to look like? How close are we to being able to jump on that now?
Super MVP, almost looks like a website with videos below it, which is what I wanted. I just wanted it bare bones because I said to them two things. I want people to be able to sign up easily without problems. Number two, when they click on a video, I want it to play in HD immediately. Focus on those two problems. Everything else, you know, whatever. It doesn't have to look that good. I was like, we can improve that along the way. People will give us, you know, suggestions, whatnot. So it's very bare bones.
Are
I've
you going to
seen it.
focus on content we perhaps couldn't put on YouTube?
Well, I've looked at Apple TV because this was worrying me because I was thinking I'm going to have to spend a couple million. I'm going to have to get a massive investment. But I looked at Apple TV and they've only got 60 free shows on the platform. And I was like, well, we can do that. Like the budget's not going to be as big as theirs, but we can do that. And there's stuff like, there's so many documentaries. Like we can do a documentary on like a hair loss cure. Is it ever coming? You know, we can look into it and go out there and then look into NoFap and actually spend some money and get some, you know, proper science rather than bro science and actually do a full documentary on the benefits and how it impacts the brain and why this changes men in a certain way. Like, it's basically the content goes up a level. Then we can do our live stream YouTube boxing event.
Unfiltered documentary on Tate. Unfiltered documentary on the Tate
This is
brothers.
what I mean. We can do like, if they get out of prison, I want to do like a Kardashian type show with the Tates, where it's just like inside the life. And it's just, you know, like the Kardashians, where you do seasons, like season 1 of Inside with the Tates or something like that. You know, just Tate Confidential, like it becomes like a Kardashian show. And then you go and do a documentary on their success story. You know, it's just.
Or just get the truth, like just show them for who they are rather than making some fucking smear campaign documentary. Like people are fascinated by the Tates because of their life. Show it for what it is. Show the good and the bad. Show it purely. Let people make their decision. Don't fucking try and narrow people down one way. So many people, even in Thailand, because that's the thing. Nobody knew about Tate really in Thailand because it's not in their language. They're not so interested in this guy. And then all of a sudden, all the main news channels are saying, this guy's fucking doing all this shit, and everyone now thinks he's a bad guy. They have had no chance to see the good side of Tate. So, which that gets me, man, because it's like that's such a huge smear campaign, just fucking absolute nonsense.
The reason I feel sorry for him is because you've got all these agents coming out, like KSI and Logan Paul, and they get told to say something like he's cringy. I saw an article the other day. 5 people you can follow that are great. 5 people your son can follow that are great alternatives to the Tates. And it was like number 1. There's some awful people. It was like number 1, Mr. Beast, and I was like, it's not really the same thing, is it? And then it was number 2,
nothing wrong with
PewDiePie.
Mr. Beast. Oh fuck me.
PewDiePie who said the N word.
Good creators,
Do you know what I mean?
in terms
PewDiePie
of their
said the N
content,
words,
but
and he's doing like Nazi symbols, and he's racist, and it's like he's a role model apparently because he's controlled. And then you've got who's that guy? Is it Rotashaw and Mini Minter? And they were from the Sidemen.
It sounds bad. It sounds terrible.
Yeah, they're from the Sidemen, and they were like, you should follow them because they gave money to anybody who got an A in their GCSEs, and it was like, but it's not teaching people shit. Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Mr. Minter and Rotorblades.
Like I can't respect any man that I could squish with my left hand.
I don't respect any man that can't drink a Thai Red Bull and then have another Red Bull.
Do you know what? That's actually my barometer. That's my rite of passage.
This one's nasty though. This is a fucking menthol flavored Red Bull.
Mate, that sounds like the worst thing ever. How are they even selling
that? You know, I didn't buy that myself. That I would never ever buy that.
Who the fuck is drinking that? At least you get fresh breath and energy.
I'm gonna smell it. Oh shit! It's
almost
like a proper fucking menthol drink.
That almost sounds like a pre-set drink. Give you some energy, fresh breath, and away you go.
I'm feeling calm, but I'm feeling energized, so that's good so far.
Does it give you like a coffee feeling?
It's way stronger than coffee, this, man. It's like a big buzz. This is like cocaine, kind of similar.
So you're saying it's like a first man supplement?
It's a first man sup. It's similar to the any first man sup you're gonna get. It's gonna make you feel fantastic.
I always get messages of people. They're like, I can't live without your supplements anymore now that I've experienced it. And I'm like, mate, every time I run out, I fucking feel ill or knackered or tired. It's almost like I've built up a reliance on it.
Don't ever drink this.
No,
Never
it looks. What's the logo?
Anybody in the world should never ever drink this. It's a terrible, terrible drink.
It's disgusting.
Chris, I need toilet. You take the reins. I'm just going toilet quickly.
Let me get the comments out.
You get the comments out.
I'm
gonna have to.
Live
I'm
chat,
putting the phone in my bag. You might
Live
even hear me going. You might even hear me going toilet. To be honest, I can't leave my phone on the table. So
show us your dick. Oh, he's muted. Now I just said
somebody in there already. Oh no, there's not. All right, we'll leave that out there, and then I'll go toilet.
Oh, the comments they keep disappearing. What's in the supplements? What are the benefits? Just all natural ingredients. I don't know if I can list them all, but stuff like we can hear you pissing. Stuff like oh, there's an echo. I'll read the comments, guys. And I'll come out screaming. Second one. I'm reading comments. I'm not just staring at the screen like a lunatic, guys.
Can you hear me pissing, Chris?
Yeah, there was an echo as well, so I stopped. I waited.
Fuck's sake. Sorry about that.
At least you're not shitting.
Yeah. There we go. He's back out.
I want to answer that one.
Sorry about that. That wasn't very nice. Sorry about
thoughts on minoxidil. Things like minoxidil, Rogaine, and stuff like that. I wanted to get on that shit when I was younger. I was like 18, 19. And the guy that I went to get it off in a store was like, it was like your hair builds up a reliance on it. He was like, so if you stop using it, your hair will fall out quicker. Number two, it really fucks your testosterone levels. There's a famous story on a footballer called Mario Götze, and his whole career was destroyed from using anti-hair loss products. Like his whole testosterone disappears, and he got like hypothyroidism or something. So you got to be really careful, guys, with those products.
I think you've done it right, mate. I think you've done it right. Just fucking embrace it. Shave that hair off, mate. It doesn't fucking matter, I don't think. If you've got that physique, if you're a decent guy, fucking get that hair shaved off. I'm going to shave mine off. Mine will go eventually because my dad's has started to go. So when mine's not, when I haven't got a respectable head of hair, when it's starting to go that way, I'll fucking get mine shaved off and I'll be same as you, mate.
SMD. Do you know what? The thing is, too, it's like people go, oh, like the first question is, do I look like a dick? And if you tick that box and you're fine, whatever. The second question is, do women still like me? I'm telling you guys from experience, just add some muscle, make yourself look a lot more manly with the shaved heads. And it's a whole fucking look. It's like bold black guys. It looks amazing. And it's like, as long as you're a big guy, you know, with the shaved heads, like it just works. Dress it like, I wouldn't be able to walk around in Supreme head to toe. I'd be looking like some 40-year-old kids. Do you know what I mean? So I wear like nice shirts and I drive a Range Rover. I'm not driving a car with a loud exhaust. Just like you just got to build the whole image of just being like that mature masculine man. Your hair's gone okay, deal with it. Like you've almost got to age your entire life around it. Like if I was on the dance floor, like giving it everything, fucking doing the latest dance craze from TikTok, you know, which would be a sight to see because I'm a shit dancer. But people would be like, who the fuck is this old guy trying to get involved? But if I'm sat like at a rooftop bar with a nice shirt on, muscles stretched out with good body language, it's like, who's this fucking successful alpha male? Same fucking person doing two different things. But I realized overnight, I was like, this shit's going to make me have to grow up. I was like, I can't just be that like little Justin Bieber boy anymore. Yeah, I've got to be the man that I'm looking like, if that makes sense.
You don't want to be Justin Bieber for too long either. It's not
for
ideal.
Too long.
It's not ideal at all. Someone asked something interesting. Let me have a look what it was.
I found one as well. Can I answer one?
Yeah, go.
Thoughts on weed. We know about that, don't we, Jackie boy? And
we've had some weed before. We've had some weed
together. See, I'm a massive
we did together. I forgot that we had smoke together.
Must have been strong. No, we've had some really we've had some good times. And like I was always into weed anyway, but I was with a Caribbean Indian girl. That was like my last girlfriend. We were together for 4 years, and we always used to do it. And I know that the Tates are very like against this, and they're like, I don't want the low energy. I understand that, and I actually agree with it. I'll only do it like once a month, but I use it more for like stress and therapeutic reasons. So if I've had a really hard week, and it's let's say let's here's the thing, right? If it's like a Saturday night and it's 5 p.m., 6 p.m., or whatever, and you're like, I'm going to smoke some weed, and then you go, oh, I feel like I'm low energy now. I can't be bothered. I'm going to sit in front of the TV and just eat pizzas. Then that's not a benefit. For me, it's like, what would you have done that night if you hadn't done that? You might have gone and got some, like a real woman. You might have had some energy to actually go out and meet your friends and enjoy your life. Well, then when you get home that night, if I went and sat outside by that fire table out there, and then I'm with a girl and we're smoking till like I don't know, we get back at midnight, we smoke till 1, then we go to bed, have some sex. Well, I've ticked every box there, and I'm gonna get a great night's sleep. But it's those guys that are like, I want to come out tonight. I'm just going to smoke some weed to relax. And then next thing you know, they fall asleep by 9 p.m. And you're like, that's fucking your life up. That's keeping you inside. That's the same as porn. But if you use it just before you go to bed after you've done something, then you can be productive. The guys that wake up at like 10 a.m. in the morning and they sit and smoke weed first thing, it's like, you're going to fuck your life up. The timing
I've
is the most important thing with weed.
I've got a slightly different opinion on it, just because it seems to affect my brain a little bit
Really?
more, and a few of my friends more. So I seem to get, and I didn't notice this straight away, but my paranoia goes up massively, even if, like for like a week after smoking, which wasn't healthy for me. I was getting
Mm.
way too over the top, fucking way too in my head, that sort of thing. I think it does make you lazy. I think it can. I think smoking weed is something to do if you want to have like a relax or a good time, maybe once a month after you've made some fucking shit happen in your life. Because otherwise, you're just running away. It's the same with anything. Like, you're running away from what you need to be doing, and you could literally be sober making things happen. So I think once you've done it, nobody can tell you shit. When you've made your money, when you're doing your thing, if you want to smoke weed every now and again, do it. But on the way up, stay away from it. Keep your mind clear, I'd say, just because it can make me fucking paranoid, man.
Stay away from skunk as well. That shit fucks with you. That shit's awful. But I tell you what. Here's a funny story, right?
Chris,
At
what
the
the
end
hell
of
is
my
skunk?
just like a real strong, stinky strain of weed that will fuck with you. You got to stay away from that. My uncle used to smoke it all the time. All the bikers, like you know, all the bikers and whatever, they used to do all the gangs and whatever. So he got in with them and got into it, and it's awful. But I got a funny story. When I finished my last SMP, the guy was saying to me the whole time. He was like, "Do you smoke weed?" I was like, "Yeah, yeah." He's like, "I got some stuff for you. On the last day, we'll do it." I was like, "Okay, whatever." I was like, "I'm not I won't drive that day so that I can get the train."
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, makes sense. So he gets out this little carton at the end, and like a screw top thing, opens it up, gives me like a grain of rice, and I was like, "Well, nah." I was like, "Come on, give me more than that." I was like, "I'm a big guy. I got high tolerance too." So he's like, "Okay." So he doubles it up, put it under my tongue. 2 minutes later, just
Wait,
wait for
wait,
it to
wait.
dissolve.
You've lost me, Chris. This is weed, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But this is what it is. It's this special oil, and he reckons that this guy was like he looked like the guy from Breaking Bad. He's like some old school professor, just like mixing it up in his kitchen. So I put this stuff under my tongue, whatever, let it dissolve. Just no effect. He drives me to the train station. I was like, nah, feeling great. Like this stuff don't even fucking work. I was like a high tolerance, and he was like, whoa, I've like bigged this shit up, and it hasn't even touched you. So then, like nothing, train journey over to Paddington. It's like a quick little trip. I can't remember where from now. It's somewhere in West. Um, and I get to the train station and I start going, yeah, maybe like slightly lightheaded, not too much though. I walk into this shop and I went and bought like a bit of food. Didn't really think anything of it. Sat on the train, and then there was like a moment where I stopped and looked down, and I was like, I just went and bought like 12 flapjacks, and I've just eaten them all. I was like, I must be fucked. I didn't realize what I'd done. And then the worst thing of all was I was sat on the train facing backwards. So this train starts going backwards, and all I can hear is like, and it fucked with me. Next thing you know, I'm out of it. I'm absolutely out of it. And I got convinced that I was in like Taken 4. And this guy came and sat next to me, and I was like, he's trying to fucking kidnap me. And I was like this, without watching him. And I kind of knew what was going on, but at the same time, I couldn't fight the paranoia. I was like, no, you're fine. You're not going to die. Like, because I was getting like really heated chest pains. It was getting like hot as fuck. And this guy said something to me, and I was like, "Can you just fuck off?" Like I was ready to go. I was ready to like drag him into the toilets and do him, and then like
Stop
beat
trying
him
to
up, not
kidnap
do
me.
him like that. And yeah, and then the worst thing all, like I started to get quite mongy, so I was down like this, hanging, and my eyes were closed, and all these people were walking down the train to get off, right? And I thought they were coming for me. So I was like this, and I went, like spotted them all, and I was like, right, they're looking at me. But I need to know if they're looking at me, so I'm going to do a really sly look, and I was like this. And then I went, wait, that was weird. I bet they saw me. Let me check again to see if anybody saw me. So I did it again, and I must have done this like 20 times. And each time, because they're getting off the train, they were getting closer, and I was like, they're fucking coming for me. Everyone's surrounding me. And then the worst thing happened. They went, this train's been cancelled at Swindon. We're stopping.
No.
It's been terminated. So you're going to have to get on a reserve bus. And I was like, how the fuck am I going to find this bus in this state? And I'm out of flapjacks. So I've got no super juice left. So I ended up standing in the middle of the bus station, and this bus driver was beeping at me. And I was just looking at him like, what the fuck does he want? And then this woman came over and got me. Must have been like 2 minutes later, and was like, you're standing in the way. And I was like, oh, okay, I didn't know. So she like pulls me out of the way. I finally find the bus. I walk up to the driver and I went, is this bus going to China? And he went, sorry, mate. And I was like, is this bus going to China? And he was like, going to, and I won't say the name because then people will know where I was going. And he was like, yeah, get on, mate. Are you okay? I was like, yeah, fine. I stepped onto the bus, and there was like this kind of pretty woman, but I don't know why. I just felt like her energy, and I was like, she can save me. So I kind of like walked forward. It was only me and her on this bus, and I stand next to her, stood upright, and she sat down on my left. And I stopped, and it went through my head, and I was so paranoid. I was like, should I ask her? Should I ask her for help? I don't know if I should. Or is it weird? I don't know. Like, will I be slow? And then I went, shit, I've been stood next to her for like 30 seconds. I was like, fuck. So I just walked to the back of the bus, monged out, opened the window, and it was cold on that bus, but it was helping me. And like that cold air was just blasting my face. And an hour later, I was fine. I was absolutely fine. But that hit me like a ton of bricks. I've never been like that in my life.
And there you have it, folks. That's why you shouldn't touch it. That's why you shouldn't touch your weed. That shouldn't fuck you up.
Well, that stuff's another level. Like that is, that's the type of stuff you want to take at home when you're like, you can just walk to bed. Do you know what I mean? You know you're in trouble. You probably have some wacky dreams though. Like, and I tell you now, I wasn't right for 2 weeks. I kept waking up and just feeling mongy, and like my energy was off. I was like something weird. I got a weird taste in my mouth. Like I was probably like a week, to be fair. That was strange.
Someone gave us £10, Chris.
That was the nature of the story, I think.
For your fantastic story. They said, hello, Jack and Chris.
Story. Thank you.
They support us. They really like us. His name's Nate. Thanks, Nate. And, oh, it's gone now. Let me have a look. And at what age or level of money should we be making to invest in a life coach? I know Kevin Samuels preaches about this.
At what age? I think you got to have a little go at that to begin with yourself. There's so much information on YouTube and stuff now. All of us just giving this information out for free. I don't think that's where I'd be putting my money into a life coach. I definitely think I'd be, some of the best coaches in my life is like my boxing coach. The reason being, he's had multiple fights. He's been through a lot in life. He's got kids, so he's got a different take on life than I have. So like sometimes I turn up and I'm stressed and I'm tight. And he's like, mate, loosen up. He's like, what's the matter with you? And I'm like, the boxers, they've lost the stock. And he's like, relax.
I've lost £8,000 for boxers.
I've lost £8,000. And he's like, yeah, but you can't control it, can you? And I'm like, no, good point. Yeah. and he'd almost like treat you like you would his son. Do you know what I mean? And you need people like that in your life. I don't think you need to directly pay a life coach, and that's coming from somebody who you potentially would pay, so that you know that's coming from the right evidence. But I think there's
think
so much information there. You're okay.
I think you're right, and I think somebody who brands himself a life coach is normally like, you probably don't want to ask that person to be like, the people you really want the advice from. They're not life coaches. They're fucking doing
Yeah,
shit. They're out there doing
they're
shit. So whether it be like
successful.
a mentorship with someone does on the side because they're super successful and you can get some one-on-one time with them to pick their brain, fine. But you don't need someone whose day-to-day job is being a life coach, because they're not going through the same experiences as you a lot of the time.
I
So
agree.
that's what I would say about that. I think you're right. That's a great ROI, because if you find a wise sensei, for example, that you pay for one-on-one boxing sessions, you're getting the best of both worlds. You're getting the stoic wisdom, but you're also
And
getting
also, like, I've never been a fan of like generalized life coach. I think it's better to have a specialist. Like, I was saying to my boxing coach, I was like, I want to do some sprint training with someone. And there's a girl at my gym who's a professional sprinter, and she's attractive. So she's like, she only said this to the other coaches, but they told me, and I was like, I won't like push it further. But they were like, she only trains women, and I was like, I get that because it could be quite sus and whatever. So I was like, I won't pursue it. And my boxing coach said, I've done a bit of sprint stuff in the past. I could help you. And I was like, respectfully, no. Like, you're my boxing coach.
yeah.
That's what I want you to do. Like, there's a yoga teacher who told me she does Spanish, and I was like, no, I want a dedicated Spanish teacher. I want, like, that's what I'm after. I don't want somebody who's like, I've had a little dabble on that in the past. Like, I want you to do what you're best at and teach me how to do it. So perhaps instead of paying a life coach, I think you get much more benefit out of having like 4 or 5 different coaches for 4 or 5 things that matter to you, that you actually want to get better at.
The idea of a coach, for example, is a fucking brilliant idea. I think having a coach will massively help you get ahead. Like, you don't realize how much you don't know until you know it. You don't realize how much information you're missing from someone who's been in the game. Like what guys learn from you, Chris, just from you being in the game a long fucking time. And then the stuff that you figured
You
out
know,
that you can teach them, that they'll fucking learn about, that they would otherwise have to make mistakes and do on their own.
it's one of the biggest parts, isn't it? Like, I think I said this on Mark Tilbury's podcast. I was like, I used to complain a lot about like, why is my life so tough? Why am I going through shit? Why is this so difficult? Why did I have to lose my hair first out of all of the guys? And then I realized, like, I don't know if it's fate or whatever, but I've created this channel, and I've been able to then relay that information to hundreds of thousands of men, if not, if you look at the views, millions of men. So then you go, well, that's why. And like, the more shit you go through, and the more, like, 8 grand of boxers have just gone missing. So if any of you guys ever deal with that now, you'll know how I dealt with it. You can ask me, oh, my stock's gone missing. What did you do? How did you? There's not a lot you can do. Like, it's out of my control. So it's just like, yeah, you might have the initial fuck me moment, but then I just message the company and I go, well, if you don't find it, you've obviously got to refund me. That's part of the deal. So then you start, cross that bridge when we come to it. Let's put some contingency plans in place. But if we have to deal with it, that's what's going to happen. And it could
I
be for
think
the better, but who knows?
a good mindset for everything is just make everything fucking funny. Try and make a joke out of everything. Take everything
It does
less
help.
seriously, and you just fucking got to hit it like that. As soon as I started doing that, because I was getting so stressed, daily content, getting stressed at everyone, I weren't being a nice person. When you're stressed out, when you're letting the world affect you, you're not going to be nice. You're not going to be on the wavelength that you can be on. You just got to relax a little bit, boys. Just take it easy. Do what you can in the moment. Your best move, and you've got to get good at letting everything else go. And make everything fun. Make everything fun and funny. Don't be serious. I think you get a lot of that if you watch yourself on camera a lot, which we've done. You figure out that you actually like yourself the most when you're like having a laugh and you're being a fun guy. And then when you see yourself get too serious, you kind of cringe a bit and you're like, why did I have to be so serious? It's like, always just
I
joke
agree.
about shit. It's the fucking best way to
Yeah.
be.
Like, I've had moments where I've said something like, I don't know, you talk about an experience with a woman and or whatever, and you're like, yeah, and I was getting girls that night, and you watch it back and you're like, oh, that's going to get clipped on TikTok, and that's
Oh,
not me as
fuck.
a person. Why did I say that? But the reason you said it is because you got carried away with the video. You got hyped. It was like you just had sex with a gorgeous girl the night before. You're doing a video. Your energy's up. You've just gone to the gym and done leg days. Your testosterone's double, and it just came out, and you're like, that's not me. But then the funniest is when you're like making a joke, which is tearing you down as an individual when I'm a bald-headed, big-eared guy. And it's just like,
Yeah.
you just make a little joke, and it just feels a lot more relaxed. And then that kills. Like if somebody said that to me on the street, like when people message me, "Oh yeah, but you're ugly," I'm like, I'll be the first to I'll say it before you do. Like I don't. It really helps with confidence. Do you know what I mean? Like, how the fuck do you get girls? I'm like, mate, I say the same thing every time it's about to happen. I'm like, how the fuck are you here? Do you know what I mean? It's just like, why are they? It's just
Alpha
the
move.
easiest way to live. Just laugh at yourself. Just who gives a shit?
Yeah.
My
Laugh
dad
at
was the best
yourself.
at that. I wish my dad was still alive because he's like me times 10. Like most of the stuff I've learned is from him, and I'll never forget. And I'm gonna do I'm doing a little mini series of like lessons my dad taught me. I was gonna do that,
I
and
love
then I
that.
was gonna
You should
do
do that, man.
like how to become a better man. It's 60 seconds, like episode 1, episode 2, episode 3 for TikTok and YouTube Shorts. I think that could be kind of cool. But I remember with my dad, I got so many stories of the guy. Like we were going to Magaluf. He just messaged me out of the blue and he's like, "You fancy Magaluf, don't you?" I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Go on, then I'll take you." He was like, "It'd be hilarious." So he comes out to Magaluf with me and we're like, well, mate, it was mental. But before we went, we're walking around a place called Gloucester, doing some shopping. It's like a little city. Actually, Harry Potter was filmed there in the cathedral. A little claim to fame.
Harry Potter's from there.
Harry
Harry
Potter.
Potter's from there.
Harry Potter lives there currently with his wand.
Yeah.
And yeah, we were doing some shopping, and my dad isn't a handsome guy. Like you think, like my ears aren't actually that big. I joke around, but they're not actually that big. When I say to people I get them pinned back, they're like, no, you like girls will say you don't need to and whatever. But his were really big, and he had the bald heads, and he's just like a broken nose. One of his eyeballs was like all black, or he got kicked in the eye playing football. Like he wasn't a handsome guy, crooked teeth, everything. Didn't give a fuck. He'd have more fights than Mike Tyson. And he would just stroll around Gloucester. And I was at an age where I might have been like 19. And I think my hair for the first time might have been seeing some signs of receding. And it's like under the bright lights when you're shopping, you're like that, you're checking. In the CCTV, you're looking. My confidence was a little bit off. Every woman that I saw, I was like kind of eyeing them up like that. Like, oh, she's hot, she's attractive. Is she looking at me? Like you wanted that validation to feel good about yourself. And my dad's just strutting around, well dressed, talking to all the girls that's like the waiting room staff and stuff like that, and all the girls that are on the shop floor. He's just chatting to them, doing the marathon mindset thing. Like probably the ugliest guy there in the store, and he's just doing the marathon mindset, and they're just in tears, just laughing, joking, like girls doubled over, coming back, flirting back with him. Like I could see it, ignoring me completely. Like I remember my first ex-girlfriend. We were probably like, what was I, like 20? She was like 19, I think. I just turned 21. She was 19. And she was unbelievable. She was gorgeous. And I remember she said to me once, she was like, "You're handsome, but your dad's attractive." And
That
I
had to
couldn't really.
hurt. That had
Oh,
to hurt
yeah, it
back
did it
then.
at that age. It did at that age. But she was like, if you grow up to be like your dad, she was like, I'll be so happy. She was like, he's just the alpha male everywhere he goes. And I learned that young, where it's like, you don't have to be this handsome motherfucker. You don't have to be. My dad had stage 4 cancer, which most people should be dead from. And he was in Barcelona and he was going out with like 10 women, like all beautiful women. He had like a 28-year-old missus who was fucking sexy. Do you know what I mean? Like she had the body and everything. She was Bolivian. She was nice.
Love
He
to
slept
hear
with
it.
three. He slept with 3 sisters and married one of them. Like the guy is he's the original top G. But it's like he's not handsome. He shouldn't have been able to do that. He shouldn't. But it's just his energy, his aura, his confidence, and I got to see that when I was younger. And it's funny. I was thinking about this the other day. Like if I say to people now the male advantage, or if you said in a public group, men peak around about 30 and then beyond. Sorry, I got that mucus from that cold. There we
God,
go.
get it out, Chris. Get it out. Spit on the floor.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like men probably peak around about 30. When I used to say that, people used to go, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I used to get so much shit when I first started in this industry. Women used to attack me. Women don't want to be with an older man. That's disgusting. And then it was all these young guys would be like, "Oh yeah, they'll really want to fuck you when they've got these young 18-year-old studs with energy." I used to get pushback like crazy. You're an idiot. You're just trying to. It's cope. All this shit. Whereas now in the industry, it's well known. It's well known, and I got that from my dad. I think the male advantage, where I knew it was coming because I saw what he was able to deal with, and now it's common knowledge. It makes me laugh because somebody will make a YouTube video now or a TikTok, and they'll be like, "So obviously we all know that men get better with age," and everyone goes, "Yep, yep, yep," and I'm like, "Fucking hell!" 6, 7, 8 years ago, when I mentioned that, I just got berated in the comments. I just had like thousands of people going, "You fucking idiot." It's just nice to see that now that it's common knowledge and
It's come
to
full
bring it full
circle.
circle. Yeah,
I
it's
think
nice to see.
the young guy, maybe the young handsome guy, sometimes they've got game as well. Fair play to them, and they'll end up being
Yeah,
studs
yeah.
well into their getting older. But I've met a lot of young guys, a lot of handsome young guys that don't get laid because they ain't got the charisma. Girls feel kind of awkward around them. They maybe say hello and they're interested, but they waste that opportunity. Like, that's my one issue with the black pill. It's like, it's really not so much about the handsomeness, is it? Like, it's good what you
It's
can
all
do for
right.
that, but you can fucking play the game if you want. What did you think of Wheat Waffles when you actually met him in person? 'Cause you went on a fucking actual thing with him, and he's got quite a big
Yeah,
following. People like his stuff.
I loved him. He's such a great guy. I've actually got to message him back. I've not messaged him back for months because sometimes I get so crazy with business that I forget. I'll message him next week, and then it becomes like 2 weeks and a month, and then you go, "Fuck, sorry, mate," and it's just embarrassing to reply at that point. I'll always be honest. I will call him at some point because we're supposed to be doing. We're going to sprint against each other because he's a runner, isn't he? And I was like, I
That's
don't know if I'm
fucking
still quick.
brilliant.
I don't know
That's
if I'm still
brilliant.
quick, but I was like, I'll do it, man. I don't mind getting destroyed in public. I don't give a fuck. But yeah, mate, he's such a nice guy. He brought his missus with him, and he's such a like level-headed, decent guy. So ahead of the game because he's young, and he's already thinking this way. And I've
I
never actually thought he was black pill. I always thought he was red, and I got that impression
Yeah,
when I was with him. Like he's an
yeah,
improvement guy. I just think
yeah.
he started in black pill, and he thinks he's still there.
I,
But yeah,
I,
super intelligent. Like I liked him, and we all went for food afterwards, and sat out there beforehand, and just a real like just like a gentleman with his head switched on. He's going places. If he like in the future, he's going to be massive. He's going to click. Something's going to click. And he's going to be huge.
I think at the moment he's running with where the money's coming from. Fair play to him. The money's coming from leaning into that sort of black pill thing for him. Would he suit so much the YouTube channel of a red pillar? Probably not right now. So I understand where he's coming from, but I agree the same thing. I don't think he's like what he says. I think he's like us, but he just doesn't say it yet. But I thought he was way more based than he let on.
But he, like the thing that made me realize he's a lot more red pill, and I think as he gets older, he will. Is like he asked questions. He said to me, he was like, "So we had this moment earlier. I won't go into detail because it won't be fair on him. But he was like, I had a moment earlier. Me and the missus were there, and he was like, and this happened, and this person did this to us. He was like, and I felt disrespected. He was like, I don't think that would have happened to you. He was like, what would you have done in that scenario to not make that happen? And I was like, that's a red pill question, man. He wants to get better. He likes
Yeah,
the reason we all did this because we were little insecure virgin bitches or whatever the reason might have been. Something would have happened to us. We all got like somebody broke up with us and whatever. And we looked at the David Gandhis and we looked at these, like who Mike Thurston is today. You look at somebody like him, jacked with a great life, beautiful women around him, and we were like, how do we get there? And that's the core element. Every guy's kind of chasing that feeling of like being proud of who they are. That's that's massive. I know women always spout that bullshit of like just be yourself, be proud of who you are, be comfortable in your own skin. They don't tell you how to do it. That's the problem. They try and make out that you can do it as you are. Like we show you the steps to get there. But once you do get there and you're comfortable in your own skin, that shit's real. That shit's real. Like I don't give a fuck about anything or anyone. Like we had that thing in summer, that charity football match, and somebody turns to me and goes, "Can you do a speech?" And there's about 300 people, and I was like, "Yeah, sure. Do you want me to stand on the bench?" Yeah, sure. Stood up, did the speech. Like you lot have seen the short video on YouTube. It's not even it's not even a second thought anymore. Whereas at 19, I would have had poo dripping out of my butthole with fear. Do you know what I mean? Like,
if there's
but,
one
but
thing if there's one thing you can do, mate, it is give a speech. That's for fucking
it was,
sure.
oh, but yeah, it's just no fear of stuff like that anymore. And that comes from points on the board. It comes from, you know, just going through shit. Like, that's why I said to guys so much last, I think it was in the summer, shave your hair. Shave your hair. Even if you've got a full head of hair, just shave it off. Because what, and people said, oh, he just wants everyone to look like him. And I was like, no, he's trying to level the playing field, which I thought was funny. What I'm trying to get people to do, and a lot of people have done it, and, you know, I don't know whether the Tates, I don't know where this has come from, but they told Aiden Ross to shave his head too. And I was like, okay, fair enough, right? Like, it's not a unique first man thing, but I was like, okay, right.
They've stolen that from you again.
It's not. Do you know what? It's one of those things where it's quite a generic topic. So I was like, look, I'm not the only guy with no hair, so fair enough.
Plot
But
twist:
it's
we
the
go
way they
into
said to
Tate's
him,
bedroom. First man logos everywhere, just a fucking huge.
got my boxers on.
Yeah, yeah. Limited edition boxers. He's got the boxers. He's got all the boxers.
Yeah,
that's where they've gone.
They've been held in a prison in Romania for 30 days.
That's where they are.
No, but like, yeah, Aiden Ross shaved his hair, and the reason he did that, and I think the Tates promoted that to him, is it'll expose you because you're not relying on like this youthful look and this youthful hair, and it exposes you for who you are. It makes your face look a little bit more round. It makes your your age goes up by about 5 years instantly. You're a little bit insecure. You don't want to be seen outside. You're like, what if I bump into somebody and they go, what the fuck happened to you? You don't look good. Like, and you got to go through all this shit. And then, you know, like when I was 18, I was attracting women because I was handsome and I had hair. I had flicky hair and I was handsome. I was that stereotypical. You'd walk into a club and a girl would smile at you. And you'd walk over and you'd go, "Hey, you okay?" And it was like, I got game.
Walk over and just start kissing them, all over.
Yeah, it was literally that. You'd walk over, you'd grab her by the face, and you'd be like, "You're right, gorgeous," and start kissing her, and she'd kiss you back. You're both drunk at 18, and she's looking for one thing, right? Oh, here's a handsome guy. Yeah, I'll fuck him tonight. Like, it's not game. It's not. It's nothing to do with that. Whereas now, when I talk to a woman and she's engaged, I'm like, well, it must be me. It must be my aura. It must be my confidence because I don't look like fucking Brad Pitt. Right, and girls have said this to me before. They're like, "You're masculine. You're big. You're strong. You're like, I feel safe with you. Like, you lead. You do all the things that I want a man to do. You're confident. You're ambitious and stuff like that. They're like, you've just got this masculine energy, and you look a certain way that makes you handsome." And I'm like, yeah, I'll take that because that's all self-built. Whereas when it's like you got some flicky hair and whatever, and I think that's so many guys would learn these lessons if they just shaved their hair. And you just like, and here's the thing, rock it for 2 months, 3 months, and then let it all grow back. I'm telling you, you will learn so fucking much about yourself and about life.
I'm gonna have to do that.
Just a month or two. It doesn't have to, like, you know, yours is going to come back. So it's like,
I'll do that.
Just buzz it to a grade 1 or like whatever.
I'm just changing location, Chris. I'm not coming off stream. I'm just changing I'm going to the roof bar.
A little bit lighter. The roof bar.
Let's go to the rooftop
bar. Do you know what I admire about you? Do you know what I admire about you? And I don't think I say it enough. Is the fact that you're able to wear your shades in the dark. No, I'm kidding. The fact like how sick your life is, like the way you've set it up, the way that you've just gone, fuck it, Thailand. Like, your life is cool. It's fun. You're free. You're doing whatever you want. You're happy. You never seem stressed. Like, if you want to do something, you just go and do it. Like, I'm here going, oh, I can't go to Dubai until the streaming platform's built. Fucking hell, I've got all these bills to do. I've very much cornered myself with the promise that it's going to be amazing in the future. But you just fucking you're just free, just out here, balls out on the table, just living. I think it's so cool.
It's got to be done, Chris. You know how it is. You know how it is. And I'd say that to anyone. Like, just live the life you want to live. Like, you don't have to wait so long.
You're in the lift. You're going up. At least we're not echoing. Let me go back to these comments, guys. See what you got. What about buzz cuts? Yeah, that's the thing. If you don't feel fully confident enough to shave it off, or like I don't want you guys to get bullied at school, okay? And I don't want you to like lose your girlfriend. So if you just buzz it down a little bit, like that's gonna have the same effect. That's gonna do it for you. So I don't want you to like get the razor blade, shave it all off, and you're 14 and everyone at school's laughing at you and you get in trouble. Like, you work in finance, you shave your hair in a certain way, and they might be like, hang on a minute, because they only have like pre-selected haircuts. So yeah, I don't want you guys to get fucked in that sense. Should you pursue a girl that's rejected you in the past? I want to read the rest of that. That's important. No, George, if what that girl's doing, and I've had this as well, if a girl's rejected you in the past and now she's giving you hints, she just likes the attention. That's what she's doing. She just likes the attention that you give her. She just likes the fact that you show her attention. She just likes the fact that she feels hot. It's validation. Like that's what she's kind of clambering after. I don't really pursue women. I just kind of build my life up in a certain way that makes it look cool, and then they kind of come after you at different times, and it'll be very much scenario based. But the easiest way, if you wanted to sleep with that woman or you wanted a relationship with that woman, the easiest way is to just go and get another woman. Okay, so if you're with another woman and she sees you, she'll be on you. Like there was a girl that I think I messaged like 3 years ago. I wanted to sleep with her. She said no. She rejected me. When I first moved here, well, not soon after moving here, she came up to me because she'd seen like the life that I built and stuff that I was doing, and she saw like a woman that I was with. Long story short, we ended up sleeping with each other, but that was because I just kind of stayed away and just kind of waited it out. Like if she's giving you hints and you went, oh, you interested now? She'd be like, oh, he's interested in me now. I'm not interested. It's a weird one. It's a really weird one. So you gotta watch out. I'm writing a book on all this soon. I might call it the Marathon Mindset. Even though you're British. Thank you, buddy. Biggest pain point with my current business is hello mate. Guest had left earlier. The biggest pain point with my current business is definitely what I'm going through right now, where all the money is going into the streaming platform and all the other stuff that I'm doing, restocking products. So it's like instead of ordering 2,000 supplements, I've ordered 5,000. I want 10. I want 20,000 units because then the profit margins are better. I can lower the price for you guys, which I just have recently on all the products. That's tough because you've got to put so much money in. So basically, I'm seeing 50, 60,000 pounds going out the door per month. Okay, so it's really fucking me in that sense. So during this time, I've decided to let go of all the staff that I had part time. I'm not using them anymore, and I'm having to do everything. So I'm having to cover every aspect of the business so that the business can grow. I'm saving all of that money so I can put like 60,000 into the business without being saying to an employee, I can't pay you this month. I can't pay this month. So I'm having to do all the emails. I'm having to do all the editing myself. I'm having to do everything, every single aspect. But that's the biggest pain point right now. It's really, really fucking me. Mate, that rooftop looks nice.
It's a beauty, man. It's a little beauty. It's just on the top of the. It's like a residence. It's like on the top. It's a nice little rooftop. Everything's nice and cheap and lovely. Not many people here. Fantastic. Thailand skyline.
Jack Cullen just said Thailand looks class. I agree. It looks fucking sick. I know Jack Cullen. I've seen your name pop up so many times in comments. I read all the comments. I just can't respond to them anymore. How to make friends at the gym?
Connection
Get
not
muscle.
great, to be honest, but
mate, that looks sick. How to make friends at the gym? You just get jacked.
Yeah.
If you're the jack guy, everyone wants to be friends
big,
with
mate.
you. That's the truth.
The bigger you are, the more friends you get.
Yeah, that's the truth. People, if you're in shape, people just come over and just say, just they don't ask you for advice, but they'd be like, "You look good," or "What do you do?" sort of thing, or they want to just talk to you. They'll just find a reason to talk to you. And the trick I found is just talk to all the trainers. The trainers are like guys at a club at 4 a.m. who haven't got laid yet because they want clients. So they're happy to talk to you whenever you want. So just open a conversation with the trainer and have a chat because they're trying to get you to train with them. They want clients. So then what will happen is other people in the gym, especially the women, will see you talking to these trainers and they might be friends with the trainers. They might have spoken to the trainers. It might be somebody that they know from the local area, especially the younger guys. So then they're going to see you talking to them and they're going to be like, well, who is this guy? He obviously knows people. He's semi-validated. And people see you as, then you're a friendly person. You're approachable. So they might try next time, so you can build up your network just starting off with the trainers because they're almost forced to talk to you because they want clients. I want to answer this one. Sorry, Jack. I've almost hijacked this.
That's all right, Chris. My right up here, so I'm just getting everything like 5 minutes after you say it.
Okay. Chris, how do you approach women nowadays? Bars, Instagram, they come to you. I actually saw a video on this the other day, and it was fucking. I need to get the guy on a podcast because he literally said exactly what I say, exactly what Dan Bilzerian says. And if we've all come to the same conclusion, that says a lot. I almost get all the women that I speak to now. Obviously, I'm seeing somebody now, but prior to this, from association. So it's like, I'll do the marathon mindset. Here's a little plan, man. I'll do the marathon mindset, and I'll meet a woman who's beautiful. Now and then, I just go, she's a friend, right? And I'll just friend zone one individual woman who's a straight 9 out of 10. You don't have to sleep with all of them. You know, she's beautiful, but you don't have to sleep with all of them. So I'll just be like, okay, I'm going to friend zone this one woman. By friend zoning that woman, you've now got a different connection. You just here it is. You just call her a friend. You just meet up now and again. You just go for drinks. But what happens is people are seeing you with this woman. She's got friends. She introduces you to people. Her friend moans about being single, and she's like, I know a guy. He's great. He's like a great friend of mine. He's just your type. So I've been doing a lot of that where you just have friendship groups that are women, because we got this thing in society now, especially with our type of content and with the male podcasts out here right now. You're looking HD right now, buddy. Where it's like women are shit, women are horrible, women are this, whatever. But none of these guys are actually spending time with women. Most of these guys are fucking playing Call of Duty, watching porn, going to the bar with the boys to watch sports. But how many people are actually having a meal with a woman who's a friend? Like how many people, like 2-3 days a week, I've got girlfriends that are mates of mine that maybe I grew up with, maybe I've become friends with around here, that I'll have a long 1 hour conversation with when I see them. I'll go for food with them, I'll meet up with them. And then that way, like look at the Tates. They had those girls that are now being questioned, but they were almost like curators. Remember, anybody ever seen that video where Tate's led down on the sofa and he says to that woman, "Go and find me some girls for tonight"? It's the best fucking strategy, and everybody.
He has a sword
I
with him
think
at
he
the
does have
time.
a sword. Yeah,
That's
an alpha
important.
move.
We can't forget that. You need your swords.
Get
Have you
yourself
got
a
a sword at
sword.
home yet, Chris? Have you got a sword?
I don't have a sword. I need to get
By
one.
the
I
next
got
stream we do, we both need swords.
swords. Definitely, I agree. I've got a butter knife. That'll do for today.
Life will be better once we've got swords.
And you look at, like, I know this is a disgusting point to make, but I think it's got validation. Like, you even look at Epstein. Epstein didn't do it himself. He went and got Ghislaine Maxwell because he knows, and I'm not saying for you guys to do this, but you can get the point. Guys at the top level know that it's easier if a woman introduces you to a woman or a friend introduces you to somebody. Like, how many people date in the workplace? How many people are like, I met my wife at work, I met my wife at the gym and stuff like that. It's always enclosed environments where you're forced to talk to somebody, or it was my sister's friend that I ended up marrying. Like, this always happens. And it's people talk about network in business, but they forget about network when it comes to women. Like, have a marathon mindset and have no intention to sleep with a selection of women, and just become friends. Oh, what? You're telling us to get in the friend zone? Yeah, the friend zone's fucking great because you might not sleep with that woman, but you'll end up sleeping with all of her mates. You'll end up sleeping with. You could invite her to, like, I could have a party tonight and invite like 10 girls over there, friends of mine. They're going to invite 3 or 4 friends of theirs. I'm probably going to sleep with one of their friends. Now I'm seeing somebody, so I'm not going to do that. But that's my point. I'm just saying, as like an example, that is how you would do it. Okay, like you got
Bad
to
idea
female
coming up here,
friends.
Chris.
I just like imagine spending 24/7 with your boys on Call of Duty, watching porn, doing masculine stuff, watching sports. You meet a woman and you go, I've actually got nothing to talk about. Whereas when you actually spend hours and hours with intelligent women, you have conversations, you just get inside their brain as friends. They tell you about all the problems they're having with the boyfriend and everything like that. You have long conversations, and they'll tell you things that you should improve as well. I think you'd look really good with this and that. It's a massive help getting behind enemy lines, so to speak. So many guys are trying to fight the battle for like face to face. It's you got to get behind enemy lines and see what women are actually into. I feel like sometimes I feel like guys that have sisters have a major advantage. Because when I was growing up, my sister would invite all her like friends around, and I just talk to them, and they just like give me tips, and we'd all go like swimming together at the outdoor pool. And she had this one friend who ended up being like a famous model. She was unbelievable. Her name was Alex Johnson, I think. She was unbelievable. And she's there, like all the guys are looking at her, trying to come over, and I'm just sat having a conversation with this straight 10. I was like young, and she obviously didn't want me, but I'm getting that experience. And I think my sister used to like host parties and get-togethers, and I'd be like speaking to all these girls and whatever, because I was like 13, 14, they weren't worried about me. I'm disarming. So they were willing to have a conversation. Oh, you're so and so's brother, and they'd sit with you and have a chat. And it's like you gain experience through these conversations and whatever, and you learn how to just become like you just become a mate. And I saw this guy say this the other day. He was like, I've just got these girlfriends that I just hang out with. And here's the thing: people will go, so how do I ever get out of the friend zone? If you're at a high enough level, you're never in the friend zone. You're always an option. So if you've just got like 200 girls that are all friends, and friend is a weird term because it's more just like someone that I chat with, that I hang out with, who trusts me, who enjoys my time.
That I
And
could
it's like,
fuck if I wanted to, but I choose not to.
but I choose not to, and that's the power position. It's my position. I choose not to sleep with you. That not only will that fuck with every woman's brain in the world, but it also makes you feel good because you guys have got to understand. If you go up to a woman and you go, "You're so beautiful," and she goes, "Thank you," and walks off, she now has a power exchange. And I swear to God, that energy shit's real. Because I could be having like the worst day and no girls are looking at you. You see a girl on the street, and I'll go, and this is genuine. I'll just look and I'll just be like, I love your coat. I'm really into fashion. I've got an eye for it. I'm like, I love your coat. It looks really good. It really suits you. We'll have a conversation about it, where it's from, whatever. And then, I'll just smile and be like, right, have a good day anyway. And I'll just move on. The next woman that walks past me will smile at me. And I'm like, my energy's changed. My energy's shift. Like, and something's happened during that first interaction that has just sparked some sexual energy inside of me, or just made other women just go, boom, who the fuck is this guy? This guy's on it. It's really
Big
weird.
time.
Like I get it after boxing. I get it after boxing. It's really weird. Like my energy levels are just at a certain level, and all the women are just gravitating towards you. After leg day, it's the same. It must be testosterone being up. But it's these mini interactions throughout the day, and it's an energy exchange. So if you're going up to women going, "You're beautiful, I want you, babe, please don't leave me," and all this stuff, she's sucking that up like a vampire. And I swear, like, you don't hear this sort of stuff from me often because I'm very logical, but that shit is real. We all talk about it. I've heard. I think I've heard Andrew Tate say it. I've definitely found it myself. I'm pretty sure Hamza's said something about it in the past, at least to me. And I've definitely seen Dan Bilzerian mention it. There's an energy shift. And they're like the guy asked earlier, this girl giving me hints again after rejecting me in the past. Yeah, because she wants that fucking validation again off you. She misses you going, I really want you, you're beautiful. Everyone loves that. Like even if you had like 50 ugly women in your DM saying you're so hot, it still would mean something. It would still
Chris,
be like, oh,
how do you escalate when a girl? So let's say back when you was a youngster, what was your strategy for escalating from? You took a girl out of the club, you're having a good time, but you want to get her into bed when you've gotten home. Did you have a particular strategy or anything you could give some tips on? I had a strategy back in the day.
my kind of strategy is I always think women want to be fucked. I always think that's their best case scenario. Like I don't imagine a woman's out there going, I just don't want pleasure and sex tonight. Right. So she definitely wants to get fucked, like the same we do. But
Mm.
what you'll get, and I've got an exact story for this of a girl that I brought home months ago from a club. And we were having a chat, whatever, and she was hinting at us two going home together. I was like, yeah, cool, that'd be great. I then said, okay, I'm ready. Come on then, let's go. And she went, go where? So straight away, she's on the fucking back foot because I'm trying to get her home. And I went, okay, I've clicked in my head. I was like, I know what she's trying to fucking do. She switched it up on me because this is what they do. They want to chase you. They don't want you to force them. They want it to feel like they decided. So I
Got you.
stopped and I went, well, look, I'm going home. You can do whatever you want to do. I was like, but I'm just saying, I'm going home. I was just like, you're free to come with me. I'm going anyway. And I just walked off. And then she follows me. Okay. Test one complete. As we're walking out, she starts hugging this random guy. So it's just like, oh, hey, like their mates or whatever and whatnot. If I wasn't there, I'm sure she would have just gone, hey, and moved on. But she's hugging him. And that's test two. That's test 2, because it's like, it's probably an old friend, but they're probably not at hugging level. She probably gave a bigger hug than she normally would to try and gauge my reaction to piss me off. I just saw her doing it and just carried on walking to the door. And then all of a sudden she shows up behind me. That's test 2 passed. She then says, I've got to go and tell my friend I'm leaving. It's in my head. I was like, okay, I might not be your friend's type, but I'm your type. I'm going to stay upstairs. I was like, so I'm going to stay up here and wait for you. Because I've already got one yes. I don't need a second pain point. I don't need to go downstairs and your friend goes, oh, he's not really my type, whispers in her ear, this guy's kind of ugly, you don't want to go home with him, you know, because I'm like, I don't need a second validation. I'm already passed. So I was like, and secondly, I didn't want to follow her around like a lapdog, like, oh, let's go and find your friend. So I was like, I'll wait up here. Waited upstairs for a bit. Couple guys came over, obviously, for like YouTube and stuff like that, and TikTok, and wanted some pictures and whatever. That passed the time. It got to like 10 minutes and I was like, fuck, am I waiting any longer than this? It's getting embarrassing. I'm just stood here like a spare prick at a wedding. So I was like, I'm just going to go home. So I walked home and I messaged her and I was like, look, I've walked home. I've got something to do in the morning. I didn't want to wait that long. I was like, but like, no hard feelings. I'll see you again, and left a kiss at the end. So it wasn't like, oh, fuck you, you made me wait. It wasn't like a bitter thing. It was just like, I got better things to be doing than waiting for you, but I'm not angry. Next thing you know, she messages me, come get me. And I was like, look, I'm already home. If I'm going to come get you, like, it has to be for a reason. I'm not just coming out for no reason, whatever. She was like, well, I'm kind of on my own. I'm scared to walk home and whatever. And like, my friend needs to get home too. I was like, look, I'll come back out. But if you're not outside, then obviously I'm going to leave straight away. So it's like, I'm passing all these tests one by one. I finally got to the place, waited for like 2 minutes. She comes out. There's some more guys that recognize me from social media, and they were taking some pictures, and they bigged me up. They're like, "This guy's the man," and I was like, "Okay, this is how it's big time." And then we walked to the taxis. I paid for her friend to get in the taxi, and her friend's like, "Oh, you're such a good man." I was like, "Okay, test passed." And then we ended up going home. And when we got in the house, I was like, "Look, I'll be honest. I don't sleep with girls when I first meet them." Oh, that drove her nuts. It drove her nuts because I've gone through 7 tests there. And then she finally went, yeah, I'm going to fuck this guy. And I'm like, I don't sleep with girls when I first meet them. And she was like, so wait, well, I think you should break your rule. And then she was on it. She was like, I think you should break your rule for me. And then she's like taking her clothes off, grabbing me, whatever. And she looked unbelievable naked, you know, and like, I didn't always have the intention to sleep with her. I knew it was probably going to happen because I found her really attractive. But I was genuine about I don't fuck girls when I first meet them. You've got to prove it to me now. You got to show me something. And she did. She like put it on me and said all the right things and whatever, and showed that she was interested. And the sex was amazing. And you know, it just worked. And it was like
Chris has just shown the magic formula, lads. It is literally that you've role reversed to her now playing your game to try and to convince you to sleep with her, and that's what girls want. They want
yeah,
you as the prize, and that's literally what you've done. Another thing you did perfect: always be willing to walk away. Girls will test often whether you're willing to walk away, and I've had a similar thing where I've taken a girl nearly all the way home, and then at the last minute she was like, "Oh, actually, I want to go back to mine." And I was like, yeah, no problem. See you later. Just fucking stopped on the side of the road. There you go. Go get a taxi. I'm not taking you back.
yeah,
She gets in a taxi. She gets in a taxi. She goes all the way home. I'm driving back to mine like, oh, a little bit weird. Bang, text a couple minutes later. Come to mine now. I want to fuck you.
yeah.
I want to fuck you. Just come to my house. I want to fuck you. You don't know
It's
why
mad.
she did it. You don't know. Maybe she wanted to go home and do a poo. Maybe she just needed a quick poo. And she didn't want to poo
Do you
in
know
the
what,
house.
mate? Yeah. No,
Yeah, you never
honestly,
know.
it's so true.
Never know
Stranger
it is.
things have happened.
But you've
Like
always got to be willing to
I've
walk
had girls
away.
before where I'm like, this is a guaranteed. It's like we're guaranteed to be sleeping with each other tonight. It's gonna be,
And then they
and
just
she
shit on
won't
the
sleep
floor.
with you. She won't sleep with you because she's wearing like a bodysuit. She's wearing a bodysuit underneath her dress, and it's making her look like she's got a 10 times better body than she actually has. And she's like, well, I can't be seen taking this off. So she might go back, leave the club early, go and take that thing off, then come meet you afterwards. Or you'll bring her back and she'll be like, can I use your toilet? And then she's like packing stuff away in her bag, and then she comes out. And I can tell because I'm like, you look a little bit different. Like you've taken something off, you've done something. Like you had something that was making your boobs look double the size. Like they were getting propped up. And it's like, I get what you've just done. Like you've just taken that off. You've taken that out. Do you know what I mean? It's like I get it. So it's
Remember
just
to
like
be a
this.
gentleman, chaps.
You just don't never get angry. Never be like, because here's the thing, and I learned this when I was younger in like 9 to 5 jobs. Somebody would come in late, a girl would come in late and be like, an hour late, and the boss would be like, "Can I talk to you quickly?" And you'd hear him in the other room. "Where the fuck have you been? It's unacceptable. You can lose your job for this." And then she's like, "Oh, sorry, like my mum's just died. I was just coming in to tell you so I could go and take 2 weeks off." And the boss like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." And now the boss is on the back foot, and it's like you just don't fucking know the reason.
Classic.
Like you just don't know. Like she could have been. Oh, you start getting all aggressive. She could have been raped by her previous boyfriend. You don't know. It's like you just got to be like Bruce Lee said, you just got to be like water. You just got to roll with everything. Nothing's a problem. I think that's why women like spending time with me, because nothing's a problem. They're like, I just don't feel it today, and I'm like, yeah, no worries. Like, it is what it is.
Another thing I've learned recently, which you've probably already experienced, but I used to not really think about, is girls want to be able to do fun shit when they want to do it. They're absolutely amazed by the ability of a guy. For her to say, "Oh, I've just seen my friend doing this on Instagram. It's nearby. Can we go to this place?" Let's say it's Top Golf or a bowling or some mall or something, or some place for dinner. And then you can instantly go, "Yeah, babe, no problem. Let's book it for tonight. Get out there." Boys, that's what you need it for. That's what you just need, that bit of extra money in your pocket just to be able to click and do that. Huge attraction built there. Huge attraction.
I test girls all the time. Like, if I've just met a girl, I always say to her, "Do you want to go to Paris this weekend?" She would like every time, yeah. So it proves that it works, right? But I don't know her, so I'm not willing to spend a few thousands on her in Paris. And at the last minute, I'll kind of be like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I'll be like, "Do you want to come and hang out in the local area? We'll just like do some shit together." If they say no, then they're probably just in it for the money. If they say yeah, then they're probably a decent woman. So I just use it as a little test. Like, you've got to test these women as much as they're testing you, because they got alternative motives and all sorts. Like, it's just you just never know, man. But yeah, like, don't people always go, I'm trying to understand, like, why did this woman do this? Why did this woman say this? Why did she do this to me? Why did she say no? It's like, stop that. You don't need to understand women. Like, I could be 1,000 years old. I'll probably never understand what the fuck is going on. You just need to do.
They don't understand themselves. That's the problem. That's the main thing.
Problem.
You're trying to figure out a puzzle that can't be solved.
You just need a core element, which is kind of comes from the basis of, you guys have heard me say this before. If there's no enemy within, there's the enemy outside can do us no harm.
We've lost our
Wi-Fi's. Am I in? Am I still back? Good. Yeah, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. Everybody here? Am I back?
Are you still there, Chris? I can't see you.
You're kidding, I'm there. Can the guys? Let's have a look.
We were on a roll, and then we got interrupted by the bad Wi-Fi.
I don't even know what Janos means.
Yeah, what is Janos?
I don't even give a fuck.
Thanks, Nate. Nate said we're having a very invigorating conversation. Nate's 2 brothers dropping wisdom.
Nate's always in here. He was in here on your last one, I think.
Nate's a legend. Nate, drop me a DM on IG. I'd like to.
Nobody paid that guy any attention. That guy is leaving dog shit comments. Don't pay him attention. Don't mention his name. That's what he wants.
Oh, who is that guy?
Like Drake said, without a response from me, you just fail to exist. But yeah, can you hear me and see me now?
I can't even.
Exactly. But yeah, where were we? What were we saying? Oh yeah, that was it.
Just drop some light.
So it's like, we can do if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. And that's the way I treat women. Is I have my core fundamentals. I have my core fundamentals that I stick to, and I don't deviate from them. So if a woman plays certain games, tries to get me to do something, rather than understanding why she's doing it, I'm like, but what would a real man do in that scenario? What would I do? What's the right thing to do? How do I stay true to who I am as myself? How do I not simp? How do I not chase? How do I not? And it's just like, that's who I am. That's my core fundamental. Just stay in that pocket. Doesn't matter what's going on. Just stay in that pocket. Doesn't matter what she throws at you. Just keep doing you. And you got to figure that out over time. Like, we can teach you, but you've almost got to live through it. It's one of those things that you definitely have to do to understand what we mean. It's like that scenario with that woman that I was talking about. She tested me 7-8 times, and eventually we finally had sex. But it's like 7 fucking 8 times in a row. She's trying to swing that in her favor. Because here's the most important thing, guys, that you need to learn about women. Is she can come to a club that night, and if every guy looks at her, every guy comes over and says, "You're gorgeous," 10 guys buy her a drink. Well, that's a lot of drinks, but they try and buy her a drink. That'd be sus, wouldn't it? And she's feeling all that energy, and she's feeling beautiful, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm a sexy motherfucker." She will happily then go and get in a taxi and just go home, because what she's got is some photos from that night as well. So she knows she looks beautiful that night because she got the validation. So she'll go to bed happy, smile on her face. She'll post those pictures the next day. That's Saturday and Sunday ticked. She's getting validation all day, Saturday and Sunday. She's happy with that. Whereas if you're the type of guy, like, the first question this girl asked me when she saw me is because we'd spoken before on Instagram. And the first question she asked me was, "Do I look the same as I do on Instagram?" And I was like, "Yeah, kind of." That swung everything in my favor immediately. Because
No, you
she's
look
just
like
like almost worried, almost like, what the fuck? Like, did he not find me attractive in person? Because all girls have insecurities. She's been using filters. She looks better online than she does in person. Everybody fucking does. So, she's looking for that immediate validation. If I had gone, "Yeah, oh my God, you're unbelievable, you're beautiful," probably wouldn't have got laid that night. So you just got to be like, fuck beauty. What even is it? Like, I don't really care. Like, I'm gonna do this anyway. It's like, if I said to a girl, "I'm going to Paris," and she went, "I don't want to come," I'd be like, "No worries, I'm going anyway." I guarantee 2, 3 days later, she's gonna be like, "Hey, is that seat still open?" That's the game you've got to play.
happens
You got to do the shit on
happens all
your
the
own,
time.
all the time. Just live
Yeah,
your own life and not follow.
Xander Salmon in the comments. He asked, "Do I
Correct me.
follow you back on Instagram when you join the Brotherhood or the Gorilla Tribe?" That's what we call it. But yeah, I follow everyone who's in the Gorilla Tribe. You basically just drop me a DM with your link from joining the Gorilla Tribe, the Triple Testosterone course, and I'll follow you back and add you to my close friends stories. So, are you my close friends stories, Chris?
I don't know. It might be. Do I have to
I'll drop
select
it.
that? Because so I'm not.
I'll make sure you get in there. No, I can just add you. You'll see it. It's a green circle, but I'll add you in.
Any more
We have some
examples of tests I can steal for you? Got to think about them.
Do you play chess, Chris?
Yeah, I did for a while. I was gonna, this table that I've got here. I don't know if you can see this. Like, there we go. It's like a mushroom table. Can you see it? I thought it'd be
It's a wooden
sick.
table.
Yeah, it's like a wooden mushroom table. I thought it'd be sick because you could sit either side. You could sit on the bench or you could sit here. I thought it'd be so good to have like a wooden chess table on top. So like when people come around, here's another thing, guys, and this is why I rate Tristan Tate. This is massive. I'll connect it all. This is what I do. I got a butterfly mind. That's what my mum used to call it. You say multiple things at once. It'll all come full circle with the chess and Tristan Tate. But Tristan Tate said to Sneeko once, he was like, and if I then started playing a violin, and Sneeko was like, "A violin? That ain't gonna work." And Tristan was like, hang on. He was like, and that comes from life experience. Like, he knew that playing a violin would probably get him laid. Like, if he could just break out a violin at any moment and just start playing like an amazing tune, do you know how many girls would be like, "God damn, that's a sexy guy. Like, how talented he is." Like, that's a high level, high class skill as well. Like, that shit really matters. And I'm telling you now, if I had a house party and there were beautiful women everywhere, and two of us sat down and started playing chess, within 5-10 minutes, there'd be beautiful women surrounding us. "Oh, teach me, teach me. How does it work?" I guarantee you. "I'd love to play chess. I've never played." "Oh, how does that work? So what are you doing now? Why are you moving that piece?" She would come and sit next to you and she'd be like, "What are you doing? Can you teach me? Can we play
Yeah.
together?" It's
And then you
fucking
say,
mad.
"Darling, darling, darling, calm yourself down. There's two of my mates here and they've done our drinks yet, so your job ain't finished. When you've done your work, when you come back to the table, then we can talk chess, then we can try and teach you this game. But before then, I think you got things to do." Don't be afraid of putting a woman to work, lads. That's all I'll say. They like it.
if you're playing chess and she comes and sits next to you, be like, sorry, love, I already got a queen, and pick it up off the board. It's as snappy as that. You got to use what's around you.
Boom. Massive
Snappy.
line. Massive line there. And you say, come on, get us another drink, would you, darling? I'm thirsty.
But that is true though, isn't it? Right? Like you could show up and you could walk around the party and you could be going, yeah, so I'm a multi-billionaire and I own every car in existence and I've got a jet and a yacht, and girls would be like, twat. But you could sit down, be playing chess, and they will come and sit next to you and be like, hey, what you up to? And then somewhere in the conversation, somebody goes, by the way, whose house is this? And somebody goes, oh, it's his. And that's it. She's like, oh, the guy who I'm sat playing chess next to is also rich because this house is really fucking nice. And all these people are here because of him. I'm sleeping with this guy tonight. Like, it just comes. It's, don't worry too much about stuff.
Oh, that's a good point for the booze, in my opinion. If you, oh shit, I've got the stream up twice. That's a good point for knocking the booze on the head. Is if you drink too much booze, you're gonna say too much shit. That having that nervousness, that not being able to talk quite as much, works massively in your favor. I found I put people off massively, like girls off massively, if I'm drunk, because I go over the top. I start tooting my own horn. I start fucking saying a load of bollocks. But if I'm a bit nervous, if I'm sober, I'm way better with women. It's a good point for not drinking as much.
I agree. That night where I had 4 bottles of wine, like I've said to people, I felt like Triple H. Like I was rolling around. I just felt like strong, powerful. I'd had a good month money wise, and a lot of people are asking for photos and whatever, and saying like, "Oh, I've seen your YouTube channel. We follow you on here. Like, are you the guy from TikTok?" And women are giving you looks, and ego just goes through the roof. Testosterone spikes, and it became a problem. And you see throughout the night, like I got to a limit where I was like, "Okay, I'm starting to put people off now. I'm starting to put women off. I'm not having the same effect as I was." So then I got on the water. I started to like bring it back, and I was conscious in the moment. I'd had a few, but I was still conscious. Like I was leery, but I knew what I was doing, and I brought myself back, almost like when people call it centering. Like I centered myself, and then next thing you know, you start getting a ton of attention again, and whatever. And I tell you another great life setup is there's a female bouncer who I believe is a lesbian, and she works at one of the places around here. We got really friendly because she saw that I was in shape, and she was like, "You an MMA fighter? What do you do? You're a rugby player." So we just got chatting, and she goes to the gym and whatever. So we got quite close. She started introducing me to people. So like when I was in the club, she was like, "Take care of him, get him whatever wine he wants. Like go and get one from the cellar." And I was like, "That's cool. That works really well." And then the second, third time we met each other and she could trust me, she knew who I was. She started introducing me to all these women. And I was like, this is amazing. And then her shift finished and all the bouncers came out with us to the next place that stayed up until like early hours in the morning. She was bumping into girls she knew and she was like, "Do you want to come and meet my friend?" She was literally going out there. And I think what's the term, like procuring? Is it procuring? Yeah, she was just going out and just rounding up all these women for me and just going,
Bukaki.
"Do you want to come and meet my friend?" No, yeah, that's it. Yeah. That was it. That's the word I was exactly looking for. Title the video that. See what happens. And
it was a Bukaki night.
Yeah, it was a Bukaki night. Yeah, it was the best one I've had too. And she was bringing all these girls over, and I said to her, I was like, "You follow a girl that I went to school with that I had a crush on?" She was like, "Yeah, I do actually. She's out tonight. Do you want me to go and get her?" I was like, "Yeah, sure." So she just went into somewhere in the club. Next thing you know, she surfaces with her, and this girl is like, "Oh, hey, nice to meet you. Like, but who are you?" And I was like, we went to school together, like said who I was. She was, "Oh my God, you look so different. You're so handsome," and all this stuff. And I was like, that's literally come from this one girl going out and getting all these, just rounding them up. And then she turned around, saw these other 2 girls she knew and was like, "Do you want to come meet my friend?" I was like, and then I read Dan Bilzerian's book because you told me to. And it was funny because he said he got to know all the club promoters and he started paying them commission. And I was like, that wouldn't be a bad idea to like pay the bouncers in the area. Now this is live setup next level, but pay all the bouncers in the area like 50 quid for every girl that they introduce you to that you successfully bring home. Like, obviously I'm not going to do that because I'm seeing somebody, but that's a fucking That's a strategy, man, because it's a lot easier than taking a girl on like a £200 date.
You just brought something into my mind. This works across all aspects of life, and it's actually not something you should do. It's a necessity completely. Reason why, I just come back into Thailand from when I went out of Dubai, and I didn't get the right visa to be able to come back into Thailand and keep my 1-year visa going. So I got stopped at immigration, and they took me into a room. They weren't speaking English to me. It was a little bit hostile, like, why are you here? Why are you coming back? You haven't got the right visa, sort of thing. When I took out my visa, took it out with a guy in immigration, tipped well, made sure he was looked after, did all of that stuff right, kept the relationship open. Whenever I go see him, I'll make sure that I look after him, make sure that he's included. Whenever I see him out, I'll say hello to him. And then I just called him straight away on the phone, called my immigration guy, boom, was through immigration in like 4 or 5 minutes.
Incredible. It was incredible. I'm making a video on this soon, which is going to be about modern men need to be more international. And it's just going to be based around like how you need women in different countries and how you need connections in different countries, and like the multiple passport thing that the Tate said, that's brilliant. Well, that actually came from the nomad capitalist. I think he was the first guy to come up with it.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He's the first guy. Yeah, we need to get him on or something and talk to him at some point.
Get him in. Can we do a triple? Can we do a triple stream, or does it cap us off at 2 people?
Thumbnail will be like that as well.
Might be a little hectic.
We could definitely do a podcast somewhere. Like I want to do a podcast show. Like, I don't know if we could do it because we'd all be living in different places, but like me, you, Hamza, and a guest. Like, imagine how many views that would get. That'd be insane. But I want to do this video on like,
as well.
It'd be incredible. I want to do this video on like the international things. I think guys should broaden their horizons and just having connections no matter where you go. You fly into, like, let's say if you had friends in Qatar when the World Cup was on, you would have had that option. That would have saved you about $8,000 instead of having to actually go and book a hotel and fly out there and stuff. And I've had a scenario here when I first moved here where I was friends with 2 of the bouncers, big guys. And these 2 girls ran over to me and they were like, we're literally being stalked. And I was like, you're not being stalked. Like, one of them was really hot. I was like, you're not being stalked. They're like, we are. And then they like these 4 guys come running out. And they were literally stalking them. They were following them, just staring at them. And I was like, oh my God, like, you thirsty motherfuckers. And I looked and I was like, they're not the smallest guys in the world. I don't know if I could be bothered to fight 4 guys. Like, this is going to be an absolute hassle. So the bouncers were kind of like hanging around. And I was like, can you get me and these 2 out of here? I just want to take them home. I was like, it's a great excuse to take them home. I was like, they'll be safe with me. And he was like, yeah, sure, there's a back entrance here. And I was like, how sick is that? The bouncers have just shepherded me out, got me out the back entrance, and I've taken 2 girls home. I was like, they're so, like, just by having that connection. Otherwise, I would have had to probably have fought 4 guys. Like, it's mad. Do you know what I mean? Just having connections and setup and
so important, bro. Chris, we've gotten way ahead of ourselves again. We've been on here for 2 hours and 15 minutes, mate.
Feels like 10 minutes.
We're crazy, man.
Do you know what's funny? I sent Hamza a voice message the other day and it was 16 minutes long. And he didn't reply. And I was like, no, I get it, man. I was like, I get it. I wouldn't reply. I don't think he's listened to it because it's 16 minutes. He's probably like, fuck that. When am I going to find 16 minutes? And I messaged him something else the other day and he replied straight away. And I was like, yeah, he didn't want to go through a 16-minute audio. I was like, I understand that, man. I get carried away. I'm like, oh, fuck, I've been talking for a while. Yeah, I swear he probably just went, no, fuck this. I'm not listening to this. I was like, no, I get it, man. Oh, it's funny. But that's an example of the way to be. You could message your friend and be like,
lads, it's been an absolute pleasure. Chris, I know you've got to go and see your family today, and I don't want to keep you.
Oh, shit, what time is it, mate? What time is it? Yeah, I gotta go. Look at that, mate. We should try and do one of these a week.
Yeah. Let's just do one a week, and we can do various different things on them, go places, and because we can do it on our phones, which is sick. So
exactly,
we'll do one a week. We'll get one sorted for next week. I think they're fun as fuck.
Do you know what was sick today? Like, talking about the Tate situation. Like, we talked about them a lot today because of that situation. Like, the way that they're in the news right now. I think we could do that where, like, we see something happen and we're like, we should talk about that. We should jump on camera and have a quick discussion about that.
Let's do a weekly, like, news live stream, news from around the world.
if there's something to talk about, I think if we force it, it could be annoying. But like if we come up with a good concept or we see something in the news, it's like, wow, have you seen what's just happened? You know, we should jump on and have a little chat about it and see what we think. I reckon
come
that could
with
be
a little
cool.
file of factual information and just get a sort through it. The only news source you can trust.
It could be that way. You know, I don't want to become like a true Geordie reaction thing because I think that sucks. But I think people want to hear our opinion. Like, I think what's going on with the Tates right now is super unfair. Is bordering on, you know, it's inhumane the way they're being treated. Like, there's got to be like being in solitary confinement with
It's bordering.
cockroaches and not getting the right food and not. It's like, hang on a minute. There's murderers that get better treatment than this. There's paedophiles that get better treatment than this. It's so unfair.
It's
So,
bordering on the Nazis. It's like the
and
Nazis.
also, if you've got evidence, fucking convict them. Then send them to trial. Do something. But
Exactly.
you just keep extending it 30 days. It's like it looks sus to me. I'm a fair guy, and that looks sus to me. But we should do that. We should react to stuff because that'd be so cool. There's always something.
Let's hit it. Let's hit it, baby. And maybe we do some more like real life stuff. So we're both on stream. We just keep the phone by our side. We go chat some chicks up and stuff.
Let's just do this as much as we can. Let's just keep jumping on.
Guys in the chat, it's been a pleasure. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being
thank you
there.
guys.
You guys are awesome. I'll give a little shout out to guys who are in the chat: Jordan, Leo, Billy Badass, Jack Cullen, Atuka, Nate, Series 4000. You guys are legends. We're all on the same fucking mindset. We're all based.
I just cramped up. My abs.
Chris,
Where I was boxing, I've just cramped up. Oh, I'll be all right. Fuck.
Legends. If you like us, boys, if you want to be in a tribe similar to us with this kind of banter, you know where it is, boys. Gorilla Tribe. Go check out the links to my most recent 2 videos. Check that shit out. Chris, it's been awesome. I'll speak to you soon, mate.
It's been a pleasure, buddy. I'll see you soon. Thank you, boys. See you all.
Great stuff, lads. Drop a load of likes if you're still on here. Drop a load of likes in the stream whilst you're on here. Let's pump the lights up. Everyone who's still on stream now, let's pump the likes up before we go. Let's make sure people see this. Also, drop some potential titles for this stream. What people think the title of this stream could have been. All right, Bill, good to see you in there. What do you think the potential title of this stream could be? And drop a like. Just run those likes up, boys. Smash that like button. Any potential titles, lads? Drop us a couple of titles that what we could call this when I put it out, because I'm going to put it on so people can watch it on recording. Absolute, just in there with the slide. Chess rating 200 for me. I'm a fucking absolute dummy. Sick. We'll keep it out here then. Legends. See you later. It's been a pleasure. See you on the next one, boys. Ooh, pow.